And we're live.
Welcome to the greatest colloquium captors in existence. We're back to the high energy intros. Right? We were being pretty chill. Well, I mean, the last video was some intense subject matter, so I was like, it probably wouldn't fit for me to be there like, welcome to the greatest, like my eyes wide open, smiling. They're like, now let's talk about murder. It's like, no. Anyways, I'm here with the human calculator with the numerical nomenclature, Raytron, Uno, Dos, Tre. And the man with a plan and the ultimate Nas fan, the one who said, ditch you guys for a Nas concert? Yes, I can. He eats the day. Now, when you weren't here, the way I still did your introduction, but I altered it. I was like, there's no, what I say, I was like, there are no plans today. There are no Nas fans, and there most certainly is no man. That's what I said.
Yeah, we're all at MSG, man. All the Nas fans, they were all MSG.
Yeah. I was like I forgot what else I said after that, but yeah. Oh, I see you were repping Queens today.
Yeah, always, man. Not today, always.
Speaking of Queens, real quick, there's a new Spider-Man show coming out called Spider-Man Freshman Year, and it has like this nice.
I thought they canceled it.
Huh?
I thought they canceled it.
No, there were rumors, but I think it's still coming out. It has this nice like disco-esque kind of style. I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures to show you guys because I really like the art style they're going with. So seeing your Queen shirt just made me start thinking of that again. But anyways, what you guys been up to?
I had lunch. I had lunch with an old friend.
Why don't you tell them where you had the lunch?
I had lunch in a $3 million apartment. It was nice. It was on the 49th floor. I literally could look out the window and just see the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building and 14th Street. So I saw the entire thing, bro. I was like, I could see all of Manhattan, all of it, just right out the window.
Did it make you reconsider the importance of where you live?
I was actually talking to someone. I was like, yeah, being this high, I can see why you would like look down on everyone. Like, not even just like in a literal sense. Like, I was down on the like the main floor, and I was like, the area itself, I was like, yo, this whole area looks pretty nice, right? Then you get to the 49th floor, and you're just the tallest building around, and you look down, and you see the tops of all the buildings, just like, everything looks kind of bad. Comparatively. It's like, oh, this is kind of bad.
Man. I need to get in touch with the people you get in touch with, man.
It was so weird. It's so weird. Just looking down and seeing all that stuff, bro. It was odd.
But yeah, I was gonna say, oh no, go ahead, right? I didn't know if there was more to the story.
I mean, after that, we just had like dessert at a like regular place, you know.
What you had?
I had churro waffle. Just a churro, but shaped like a waffle. Had some pretty good ice cream on it too, so it was pretty good.
What you had for lunch?
I don't know what it was called. It was some sort of like savory crepe, right? Like it has savory.
That was crepe. Crazy. Before you said I was thinking crepe. I was about to say crepe.
It was a savory crepe, had some eggs, spam, a bunch of like nice things in it.
Crazy, man. We never go to places like that, man.
Because y'all try to slide all the time, bro. Everything
you can go. Actually, that would be perfect to ask for.
Close, bro.
Okay, man.
You trying to go to places? Let me know. I got you, my guy.
No, you don't invite us anywhere. Why are you trying to
invite you? Why would I invite you to hang out with my friend?
I don't fuck your friend. I was like,
oh my god.
I was like,
this is why I can't take him nowhere. You heard that? You heard that?
What I'm saying though is, you don't invite us to places.
People invite me places, bro.
Nah, but you know of them, man. You know
because people invited me to them. Come on.
So you can still utilize it. Because when I learn of places, I bring you guys. When I learned of Slate, I brought us to Slate. I brought everybody to Slate.
And did I not take you to that KBBQ place? Did I not take you to that ramen place? Then I'll take you to several ramen places. Then I'll take you to then I'll get you those tacos from that other place. This man talking all this shit. This man's talking all this shit, bro.
Let take you to Korean places.
Nah, I brought you those burrito tacos, bro. I brought them all the way from Queens to you, bro. Stop the cap. Cut that shit out, bro. This man is a liar.
Yeah, sure.
Liar.
As a group.
Did I not put you on the Cooler Runnings, my nigga?
Yeah.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Down the street
Shut the fuck
up. We can't talk about some shit down the street. That's
everything's down the street from somebody, bro.
Yeah, but that's
everything's down the street from somebody. Yo, you know how many Jamaican spots is between here and Cooler Runnings? There's like 30. Yeah. I'm not even exaggerating. There's mad at them, bro.
Yeah, Golden Cross being one of them, right?
Golden Cross.
What's with you and Golden Cross, my nigga?
Stop talking about that place.
What's with you and Golden Cross, my guy? You a sponsor? This thing got sponsored.
They helped me down mad times when I was hungry, man.
But I just know my girlfriend's like, we never go anywhere nice. You never take me to new places. Like, didn't I take you to that Chipotle place down the street?
No. It wouldn't happen to the Chipotle place down the street. It's just like I took you to the local spot. That's hitting, bro. It's hitting. Does it not hit?
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Shut the fuck up.
But what I was gonna say though, we went to that burger spot, EJ. Remember we did that. That was a nice little place.
Did we? Oh yeah.
7th Street. Remember?
I don't remember what it was called.
It's called 7th Street Burger. I was like, I want a burger.
Oh, that? Yeah, you did. You guys did go there. I remember that. You guys did go there. But me and EJ and this other guy, and then also the boy Ghazi went to.
You're not trying to say his name on stream? Got you.
I mean, why would I say his real name? Why would I give his real name on stream? What if
also, all I'm hearing is y'all went places without me.
I knew that was coming.
Happened, bro. See this man?
You didn't show up. You said you couldn't come. You must have had some pussy or something that was like more important than us.
It was probably a different place, different restaurant.
Yeah. We played sports that day.
Oh yeah. I couldn't go that day. Wasn't it? Was it a Saturday?
He heard sports and was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
I was doing something that day. I was doing something. I don't remember what I did.
Well, let me show you guys this Spider-Man artwork, and you can show the stream too.
Spider-Man artwork. Let's get it.
It's in materials. This is how that cartoon is supposed to look. If they can pull this off, they can make this look nice and fluid.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Oh man, it looks so cool. I'm looking at it right now, totally, for sure. Oh no, this is actually really nice. Wait.
Yeah, show it on stream.
Hold on.
It's a sarcasm. It's like that, really.
If they could pull it off, if they could pull that off. Like, look at that Doctor Strange, man.
Yeah. Hold on. Web surfing. This is some real nice artwork. Artwork. I would honestly, I fucks with it. Hell, even if it doesn't get picked up for a show, like I'd read the comic. This is some real nice.
Should make me want to read a comic, and I don't even read comics. I don't read fights.
Jesus. So you'll never read an action book then?
Probably not, man.
Like
an action with conversation, man. With it not throwing hands, just straight conversation all throughout.
So
no arguments here and there,
but people talk, but not people who fight. But anyways, what you been up to anyways, EJ? Ray wanted to
So yeah, I went to the Nas concert on Friday. It was amazing. Definitely got to cross that off the bucket list. I always wanted to see him perform, but I never got the opportunity because usually places he would perform in would never be in New York.
Why?
Yeah, which is odd. Like his last tour that he went on, he didn't go to New York one time. I was like, what the hell? And
it's because he already lives here, right?
I mean, during the prime of his career, he probably performed in New York a lot. So it's probably like not as fun for him. But
he lives in New York, right?
I don't know where the man lives.
I'm pretty sure he lives in New York.
Like I know the man.
I mean, you know of where he lives, maybe.
I don't know, man.
You claim his biggest fan.
I ain't say all that. You the one that say I'm the ultimate. I never said I'm the ultimate fan of anything.
You call the man the GOAT.
He lives in LA, bro.
Let's say the GOAT.
He lives in LA.
He lives in LA.
Wait, is he a New Yorker?
I mean, he did probably live in New York. Maybe sold his apartment or house, whatever.
Yeah, he grew up in Queens, but he lives in L.A. Trader.
Yeah.
Says here he was born in Brooklyn.
LA got nicer weather, man.
So he
I don't
grew up in
blame him.
Queens.
But yeah, the concert was dope, and it was refreshing to see because
Also,
I
he got
mean,
robbed last year.
What was
gotta
that?
be safe out here.
He got robbed last year.
Oh, so he was like, "Fuck New York."
Nah, he got robbed. Did he get robbed?
He
Heard
got
about that.
robbed
I
in
don't know if it was in New
Queens.
York. Oh shit!
Got robbed in, not Queens. He got robbed in California. I don't know why I said Queens.
But yeah, it was refreshing to see on Friday or yesterday, cause like I've only been to one other concert, it was the J. Cole one, and I seen how many people were in attendance, and I was like, and I've known this because I've seen videos of artists performing, and I've seen how the crowd looks, and so I wasn't shocked to see it be packed when Nas performed, but just the fact that he's getting that much people to attend, even at his age, like I don't know, it was refreshing to see him get all that love and admiration or praise, whatever you want to call
How
it.
old is he again?
49, I believe.
Oh, that's not that old. You made it sound like he's gonna be like
49.
50.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
man,
49.
But
you know, a lot of these pop stars are like,
I'm not saying obviously he's not old in terms of.
But he's
I mean,
an
that's still
older artist.
old.
Yeah, he's an older
Yeah,
artist.
you get what I'm saying. Stop being that guy, bro. You want to cut through everything. This is not the time. Let me speak. Let me
what
fucking
about that
speak.
guy from Maroon 5? Isn't he old as fuck too?
No, but he's saying like
Adam Levine.
Nas' popularity. Like he's an older artist. Like he was more popular
Yeah.
back in the day.
Thank you. So yeah, it's just he's not in the prime of his career anymore, you know. And not saying that people don't know of him, but he's kind of like forgotten about, right? So if he's promoting like a event, you know, like I said, he's not young anymore, so is people gonna really be excited to go? And that was kind of like my thought process. But you know, anyways, a lot of people attended. You know, the only thing about the event was,
Gwen
and I don't
Stefani's
know,
53. Oh my god.
damn. And I don't know if it's because they didn't really know his music or because some of the music he did was like from his later album, but the energy wasn't really there from the crowd. You know, like it didn't pick up till he started going into his classics, like the stuff that people know him for, like a lot of people know him for.
They came there for the classics. Yeah,
Yeah, they probably did come there for that. I went to the My Chemical Romance concert, and yeah, it was like pretty decent. But then you know they played teenagers, and everyone's like, not teenagers. They played a Black Parade. Everyone's like, yes, this is the one I know.
I didn't think he was gonna play any of the classics though, because when he promoted the concert, like it just said King's Disease event or whatever. You know, I mean, I I had a feeling he might have played maybe one or two songs, but like he really went into his older catalog. Like he was playing the hits like towards the later part of the event. And but his new shit was dope. That was why I was in attendance. Like I said, I wasn't expecting him to play the older shit. He played all the King's Disease music, and then he played the stuff off Illmatic later on. And then that's when people got hyped. And like I feel like a lot of people that attended were like older heads, like people that been a long time fan of Nas, but also they were bringing. I feel like a lot of them were bringing their girls with them. So like there were like a lot of couples there. You could tell the girl that they were with fucking never heard of Nas. Like
you just be one of those guys. Like, man, you
like
bring your girl, and she's not even a fan, bro. Come on, you're taking on space, bro. That could have gone to a real fan.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's like I remember Coach Greg said something about this, where it's like he was saying that like don't bring your girl with you to like a fucking sports concert or something.
Sports concert.
A sports game or something, because you're not gonna.
I get it though, because people don't want to go by themselves. So whatever. I mean, I don't mind. I want to go myself. And then
I understand both aspects. It's like, yeah, you're right. You don't want to go by yourself, or maybe you want to share like a certain part of you with your like other. But like I feel like if you bring them once and they're clearly not having it, don't bring them again.
Yeah,
like it's just
I wouldn't bring them.
Even when we went to Miami, right, in the basketball game, I was like, I want to go. Like, I wasn't telling you guys to come with me because I know you're not into sports like that. So I was like, I don't know if you're gonna have a good time.
Bro,
that's why I was willing to go by myself.
You understand? I'm gonna make it a good time. That's the thing. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it good. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sit there and be bored. I'm gonna find a reason to have fun, nigga. The fuck? Oh, this is
Yeah.
baseball. Baseball is boring.
The last thing I want to say about that is it was funny too because like I had decent seats, like I had a good view of the stage,
Yeah, I saw the
but
video.
then yeah, when I got there, right, like the place that I mean the area that I was assigned to sit at, uh there was a guy sitting in my seat, and he was like, oh, like this is where you're supposed to be sitting at. And I showed him my thing. I was like, yeah, and he was like, oh, actually, it was weird. He had wait, why am I echoing? Fuck,
I didn't hear you echo.
you watching?
Nah, I heard an echo for like a split second.
Yeah. So yeah, the guy that was sitting in my seat, he was like, "Oh, I got seats. I got a seat closer up. Do you want to sit in my seat?" And I'm thinking like, "Why the fuck? If you got a seat closer up, why are you sitting here?" He's like, "Oh, I'm with my buddies, and I want to sit with them. They got seats here." So I was like, "You're gonna give me your seat all the way?" And it was a couple rows up, like even better view. I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I got a better seat out of it, which was strange.
I mean, that's
But
probably why he confidently sat in your seat. He's like, no one's gonna turn this shit down unless.
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah. People were smoking in the arena too. Like shit.
no, they
It
weren't.
was crazy. Right? Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know that. But it was a hell of a night, man. He made me a proud fan as always. Uh you know, I'm good. You know, he don't need to drop another album. He don't need to go on tour. He don't need to perform. I got to check that off. So shout out to him again, man. Though one of the few things in life that I actually get excited about is when he usually does something. So
I don't mean to say something completely unrelated to what you were talking
Yes, he
about.
does.
no, I'm
He's doing
done. I'm
this on
done. I'm
purpose.
done. Go with unrelated. Go with unrelated.
I just found out something kind of interesting because they're making a continuation of that old X-Men cartoon that existed in the 90s called X-Men 97, and Magneto is going to be the leader of the X-Men in it. Just thought that was interesting.
What?
I mean, he's had short stints as leader of the X-Men before.
But like,
I think there was the Chris Claremont era and stuff.
like, don't you think we're far beyond the need for the X-Men? Don't you think we need some sort of like Z-Man now? Like, it's just time to move on.
Okay. I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to respond to that.
Z,
Yeah, you should have been here. Should have been here yesterday when me and Ray were found out what BIPOC means. That was so funny.
Oh my god, that shit pissed me off. Let's not get into it again.
I was watching that. I was watching some of the stream on my way back home from the concert, and I heard you guys going back and forth on that.
That shit had me dead. When I was watching it back, I was dying. They were the BIPOC thing. I was telling my mom about it too. She was laughing. I was explaining to her it's just a stupid term. But anyways, I mean, okay, let me get into what I've been up to. So this morning,
Nobody cares.
you see, day in the life of a YouTuber. I wake up in the morning. I have my chai latte. I throw in some spinach leaves on top of it. You never seen those TikToks?
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
Okay, day in the life of an influencer, and it is like just her life where she apparently doesn't do anything. She just gets up, has coffee, goes to the park, and then
Those daily life videos are always omitting so much information.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because even
they omit so much information, but people will sit there and believe it's like, wow, that must be her whole life. And it's like, bro, the sun has moved like 20 degrees. What do you mean? She's clearly cut out like 50 hours, bro.
And it makes that live seem more important than it really is.
Yes.
With all those things.
That's the first part, yeah. But it's like they're sitting there, right? And they're like, oh, they will describe their day. They wake up, they take a shower or whatever. They go to work, and they make it seem like they only worked for 2 seconds, and then they go and get some coffee. Then they go to the park. They have lunch.
Well, it's because they're not showing. They're like, all right, I am working, and then it's like, all right, now I'm doing something else. Yeah. So like remember that video where I told you like this girl got fired for this? She did work for who knows how long, where she said that she was in meetings for like who knows how long. But people was like, see, she didn't do shit. It was like, no, she said she was in meetings. had lunch, went back to meetings, and then at the end of her workday did XYZ. But everyone is like, see, she didn't do shit at work. And it's like, you clearly just didn't, one, listen to what she said. Two, you were just like, they got swept along in the idea of the video.
We know these people ain't doing shit at their jobs anyway. We do know this. We worked at jobs and seen, and our jobs weren't even like.
I know people in general are not working at their job. People are not working at their job.
Most people don't do shit.
At those jobs where you're sitting at a computer, you're not doing shit. Real jobs where people are actually doing stuff, they're doing stuff.
I mean, if you're doing some like hard physical labor, like it's hard pressed to like get away with it. Usually, right?
Yeah.
But bro, I know some people who would have tried.
I mean, you're looking at one of the guys who would have gotten away with it. Who would have tried and got away with it.
But yeah, no, a lot of those office jobs, a lot of people just like, if they don't feel like doing work, that they're not doing work that day. And if they can get away with it one time, it's like, wow, I literally did nothing all day and I got away with it. That's what they're going to do.
Sometimes there's a spiritual conflict. They feel like their work is not meaningful, and that's why they don't want to do it.
Bro, that's so weird to me. It's like, you went into finance. What do you think? Why'd you think that? What meaning was going to be in finance, bro?
Not meaning in terms of like you wanted to find some deeper meaning to existence, but meaning is
no. I meant that. I was like, you work in finance, bro. You know what finance is? It's taking money over here and putting it over here, and then putting it back, and that doubled my money.
Okay, but you thought you would enjoy it. You thought it was something you thought that you was gonna be something you liked doing. Then you start doing it and you don't like it as much. I mean, it happens very often.
It does happen mad often. But that's because them niggas is goofy, bro. I want that good paying job. I'm not liking the job. I want the paycheck, bro.
No, I don't think it's goofy at all. Because the reason I don't think it's goofy is because it's
because you're goofy. No.
I walked right into that one. But the reason I don't think it's goofy is because, like, typically you want a job that you actually enjoy doing, and typically you want to feel like your job has some actual measurable impact on the. Not when I say measurable impact, I don't mean like you want to fix the world. But you want to feel like your job has some reason for existing. You know, like this. You don't want to. It feels very disappointing when you realize you are just doing some job for
like the robot is like, what's my purpose? You pass butter.
You pass butter. So you want that. So when people start to realize that thing they've trained their whole life for, that maybe their parents made them think would make them happy, and it doesn't make them happy, you know, I don't see it as that weird. And because there are many jobs like this that people start to realize the thing that they thought would make them the happiest in the world was not all it was. Why the fuck am I retarded all of a sudden? Why can't I speak together?
It's because you're trying to prove this goofiness is not goofy. That's why.
Yeah, Goku came down and handed me my cloud license.
So he's goofy, bro. I'll tell you. I can understand what you're trying to go for, right? It's like the idea of going to your dream job. That's not goofy. That's not. I'm not saying that's just goofy.
Yeah, your dream job. Yeah. But it's like you find out it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, and that does happen a lot.
I actually don't think that it should be that you should do something that you hate just because it pays you a lot. I mean, I'll do it out of necessity, of course. But ultimately, I've been thinking a lot in my head about how having all this money doesn't really seem to do anything. And it's like I feel like I remember I was talking to you about this, where I was like, it seems like when you meet people who try to get out of the rat race in many ways, right? Either they're like, I'm gonna get super rich, or they're like, I'm gonna go zen, and like both ways don't really seem to. There's no middle path. Because like if you get a job that makes you a shit ton of money, you're still in the rat race. You're probably no different than the people that you think you're better than. You probably work the same amount of hours, because a lot of those guys who like are in these like high stakes jobs like finance and coding and stuff, they do work crazy hours. They work hours that don't make any sense sometimes. Not all of them obviously, but some of them really do sit in there coding for fucking hours a day.
For every one person that is sitting there not doing anything, not even for every 5 people sitting at that tech job not doing anything, it's on the back of that one guy carrying the whole team, bro.
Like just doing everything.
Facts.
So
like me in Rainbow Siege, but go ahead.
Yeah. So it just makes me wonder. It's like, should we really be like we said when we were talking about how people order through Amazon and it's like they're sacrificing the the quality of life of other humans
Yes.
for their own convenience. It's like, should we really be sacrificing our own quality of life, our own happiness, our own mental stability just for money? And it's like, but don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna turn into a commie or something. But it's something I've been thinking about a lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
now go on, EJ. I want to hear what you gotta say.
No, I was gonna say, to go off one of the points you made, you're saying that some of these people are miserable because they need a reason for their job to exist. But I feel like there's a step beyond that, because even if you find a reason why it exists, or uh what you're tasked with doing, like how many people is helping, or the consumer that you're servicing, um that could be a job like fucking, I don't know, Starbucks, McDonald's. Like,
Yeah,
you know what you're there for, but you're
yeah.
not there because of any kind of expertise or technical skills. You're
You know,
not
you
there
could be
because of your
good.
work. You could easily get replaced.
You could be good at your Starbucks or McDonald's
Yeah,
job.
but you know what I mean. You don't have any individual value in terms of like, oh yeah, they're gonna keep you long term. Like,
Bro,
you can get away with a certain amount of
there are
things.
people who just enjoy being baristas. Like, there's a whole barista convention where you like
Yeah.
learn all this shit about coffee and stuff. So
I'm not trying to minimize the job. I'm just saying
yeah,
for
no, as
people
for
that,
the example, it makes a
yeah,
lot of sense. Just
No, I
for
mean,
people that,
I think if you can be a good barista, I think if you have great customer service and you clearly know how to do it very well, they are going to value you over the next Tom, Dick, and
no,
Sally.
but what I mean is, like, it's you're working for an employer where, like, if if the next day, like, let's say
Yeah,
something happens and you can't no longer work, there's somebody else that's gonna be in there just as easily. Like, not to use you as an example, right? But I'm gonna use you as an example. When you were talking about the previous job that you worked at the hospital, right? And when you start working there, they still have a void for that position. It was a position that it takes longer to fill. Like, you were
oh, you meant
serving.
me. I was
Yes.
like, you don't ever worked in no hospital.
I mean, not hospital, it was a clinic.
It
I
was
always
a
get that.
clinic,
I worked
yes.
in a
It was a
hospital.
clinic, yeah.
I've done like temp work in a
But there was a clear value that you were serving there, or just that position itself that it serves, that they can just easily replace people and substitute you for the next person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a clear skill there. So that's the problem that a lot of these people in the unskilled jobs face, or, like, have to deal with, is like, well,
but
I can work my ass off every day, but if I have like a time and attendance issue and I tend to slip up,
I mean, even in these,
doesn't matter how good my customer service is, they're gonna find somebody the next day.
I mean,
So how
even if
can you feel valued?
even if well, I mean, if you're doing your job well and and you're doing it well, and they have you on payroll, and they know that you do well,
Having
and they
somebody on payroll is not enough, though. It's not enough.
what do you say?
Even if I said having them on payroll is not enough, because, yeah, like, you're maintaining your job, but there's still that level of, like, I'm meeting the basic needs of the company, and these basic standards are not really that hard. Like, if you work in, I don't know, if you work in security and you're standing in the front
I don't
having
know,
to,
man. I don't know.
it's
Some
not
people.
that hard of a job. You're gonna sit here and say these jobs are hard jobs to work?
I'm not gonna say they're hard jobs. But what I will say is that some people do not seem to excel at the basic the basic components of these jobs, like customer
Yeah,
service.
I mean, people have a hard time
Yeah,
maintaining
but
employment in
my
general.
my problem with what you're saying though is it goes beyond that, where it's like these high skilled jobs themselves aren't very high skilled, and you don't need to be some big brain or qualified person to do them. A lot of these jobs that exist, literally anyone can fucking do them. If you were just to sit someone down and be like, okay, here's what you have to do. There's this system here. All you have to do is type these things and do this. They'd be able to do the
But
job.
but what are we talking about specifically? Like, what? Like, obviously you're making like
I'm
this
not going to get into
generalized point.
specifics. I'm not going to get into specifics because
But if we're talking about certain positions where you need to go to school for them, like, or you need a
yeah,
license to do
yes,
it.
a lot of jobs
Yeah.
like that should not. It's like they literally are meaningless, and anyone can fucking do them.
Oh yeah.
I'm dead ass, bro. I was working those jobs when I was a fucking teenager, and not a teenager, but like I'm like 19. One of the first jobs I had was the thing people go to school for and are now sitting there feeling better than other people. I was doing that shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's start using.
We worked in that
Let's
insurance
start using
company. We were
Yeah.
doing a lot of shit. And I was
Yes,
like,
and then,
I was literally
and
an
then
intern. It was like, I'm doing mad work. I had access to people's social security. I was
exactly,
doing this, that, and the third. And I was like,
and then I did it again before. I think I did it again after that. I did it again where I was
Okay,
doing another job. And
can you get a job as a psychologist? Yes or no? Right now, can you get a job as a psychologist?
well, psychology is not a field, not one of the fields I've mentioned in this thing. Psychology is
But that's the point I'm making. I think we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about like jobs that they're not letting you in unless you show some kind of license, a certification
well,
off
that's the
rip.
thing. I'm saying just because you have to show a license doesn't mean the job necessarily requires hard skill. It just means you need this thing to show you are
It's hard skill getting a license for certain things. What do you mean?
sure, but not really. Like, cause we had to go get qualifications and certifications to be a fucking security
Bro,
guard.
you talking about positions that, or you're not talking about certain position. I'm not gonna say
Well,
that, but
your thing was like the kind of jobs that people need to get a certification for, right? A security
yes,
job, you have to get a certification
you
to do
do, but you can get that in like fucking 2 days, bro. Come on. As
it.
opposed to
Sure,
psychology, you gotta go to school for years on end. Like, what
yeah,
are
sure,
we talking about
sure.
here?
But that's
so yeah, no,
that's the
honestly,
irony.
it really feels like you're splitting hair. Because, like, it feels like you really are talking about different things. Like,
Well,
seems like
no,
EJ's talking about
we are,
doctors, and
we
you're
are.
talking about, like, office
Saying,
jobs.
Come
no, well, not
on,
just office. But I'm saying the irony in this situation. I'm mostly talking about corporate America, yes. But the irony of the situation is that it's even in corporate America, what you're describing is what people do. They go to school for years, get settled with all this debt to sit there and do something a teenager could do.
Correct.
Fucking
That is a
teenager
thing that
could do
does
this job.
happen. Like,
Yes.
product
I
management,
don't
bro.
know.
No. Like,
I don't want to list any specific jobs. So
I
people
will
don't
list
get
a
mad.
specific job. Anyone who ever said that they're a fucking consultant, suck my dick, bro. You could have gotten that job at fucking 7 years old. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm not gonna argue that. You're right.
Like, if you
And
are a
the
product
funny thing,
manager, if you are any sort of manager, you really don't need any more experience than the fact that you existed long enough and you know how to, like, oh, well, Rebecca and Eric, they don't get along, so I'm gonna make sure they don't go on schedule together. Rebecca and Erica, they buddies, so I can't put them together because no work get done. But I put Rebecca and Sarah and Eric together.
a manager?
Yeah, like managers, that's really it. That's really it, bro. And then you gotta go and say, hey, yo, bro, where's that thing I asked for? Where's it at, bro?
And to be general, we're not saying there are no good managers
Yeah,
out there.
I'm
Like,
not
sure, there
saying
are
that.
managers that are very good at
I'm
their
just
job
saying that.
and want to do
Exactly.
it.
I'm saying it with my whole chest, bro.
But even with the good managers that exist, you're basically saying that can be taught without having to go through this
Yeah.
complex process.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think you.
Actually-
I generally do not believe you don't need to go to school to be a good manager. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
not
actually,
a thing.
before we move on, one last thing I'll say about this: there actually is a theory that leaders cannot be taught; they have to be made. That people are just born. Some people are born with those qualities, and you can't teach a person who isn't born with those qualities to
It's
lead.
kind of why I didn't like certain aspects of my system science degree, because I was like, these are just things that, like, I think, and you're trying to, like,
Yeah.
make it a thing, you know? I didn't like that. It was weird.
I'm just saying there's very niche fields, right? Where it's not just it is the certification process. It's the years of studying in this field to become
Yeah, I agree
like
with
to be able to like an archaeologist, bro. How many archaeologists you know right now?
you. That's a weird thing to just.
It's weird, but look,
Well,
let's
actually,
say-
I
let's
know
say-
a few geologists. Does that count? I know geologies.
that counts
I
too.
know some
Counts too,
geologists.
yeah.
Archaeologist,
But-
he was a geologist.
No,
Archaeologist.
but it fits in the
Bro, the
point that I'm
study of
trying to make
rocks,
about
like,
these.
it's like adjacent.
What about a marine biologist? How many of those do you know?
One.
Yeah, but these are, we're it's a thing where you're going against my general point by finding these specific examples.
You know, because
See, but that's what I'm trying to say. That he's talking
general.
about just a different type of things. Like, he's talking about, like, very specialized
world.
things, and you're talking about, like, corporate America. They're just separate.
Exactly. So I'm trying to tell you what I'm trying to say to you is we're both saying true things.
Wait, what? But you're saying that the people that are in the specialized fields, right? The psychologists, the geologists, even like if you want to say archaeologists, those people go through the same. Are you saying they go through the same thing that the people in the corporate world go through, as far as like their jobs,
Not
feeling
maybe.
like they're meaningless, or the point that
I
you was
mean,
making about
maybe,
that?
maybe some of them do. I've never heard like specifically those kind of people
'Cause
talk about it.
that would seem so odd, and obviously, yeah, there's the money aspect, but you really
Maybe
have to
Also,
be
no,
you have to be driven.
there's definitely some people in those specialized fields that like do the whole thing, and then they're like, I don't want to actually do this.
I've heard about. I think I've
That,
heard about
That
psychologists.
happens a few times.
I've heard about
yeah,
psychologists. I've heard about
Psychologists,
psychologists.
doctors, everyone has done that
Doctors, yeah, doctors.
because
But I've never heard
because if
lawyers.
you are just in school, like if you're just good at school, you can do whatever you want, right?
yeah.
Like you will just pass the class. No, I'm dead ass. If you are good at school, you will just pass all your classes and
And
you will like do good. And
to be
then
honest,
if you
to be
apply
honest,
with your good grades and everything, you'll get like a decent job. And then
yeah, to be
you're
honest,
doing it.
good,
It's like I don't want to be here.
yeah, to be honest, good school doesn't even mean that you're smart. It just means that you just do the shit you're supposed to do.
Or if
So
you're
like,
good at retaining information.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're good at doing that stuff, and then you pass all your classes, like Ray said, and then you find out, oh shit, it turns out I don't like this thing I was studying for the past 4 years. I was just doing it because I it was what I had to do.
Yes. I know too many people like that actually, where they're like, I'm doing this because I don't know what else to do. And I'm like, just stop doing it and just do anything else. It's like, but what else
Yeah,
is there? you
we
know?
talked about this for almost an hour, man. Jesus.
I just
What?
don't
It's
think
only
that
been
like
40 minutes.
the
Wait,
people that are in the specialized fields, they're not going through that same dilemma because
I
like
wasn't saying
even if
Just
they get
just
fired or
let him
let
finish. Just
go,
let him
they'll
finish, bro.
even if they get fired or let go or have to pursue employment elsewhere, they'll be able to do that with ease. Like they know their value, they know their worth, they know that they have the credentials to do what they do. Like, yeah, like let's say you're good at customer service or you have good managerial skills, you'll probably find another job elsewhere.
see, but
But
why does it fucking matter if you could be
it
replaced?
that matters because people don't like to feel like they're expendable all the time. They don't like to
I'm
feel that.
saying if you truly enjoy your job, you don't give a fuck. Like, for example, if I'm a writer and I enjoy writing, sure, I can leave and be replaced by another writer, but I don't fucking care. I like writing, and it's like what I like. It's what I like doing.
Yeah,
You're
but
not
there's a fear
actually.
there. There's a fear there if you get replaced. I feel like.
Oh, I mean, I don't give a rat's ass about how replaceable any field I'm in is. I mean, I actually don't care that much about working. I'm not like anti-work or anything, but I literally only work to fill a necessity and to fill a need. My jobs do not usually. There is a job that I do want, but I ultimately I want to work for myself. That is the goal that I'm working
Mhm.
toward. So like the jobs I work now are meant to just fill a necessity and fill a role, and I don't really look too much into them. So I don't have these crises of conscience or anything that other people have because I don't look at my jobs the same way they do. But I
I
do
mean,
understand why they. I mean, I have worked jobs that were really like what's the word I'm looking for? Really monotonous and really felt like a black hole sucking everything of my life within. And I was like, yeah, this shit sucks. I'll never work a job like that again. Like security is a job I probably would never work again. Like I'd probably do it like on the side maybe every once in a while,
You're
but
a
I'll never do
65
it
year old
again.
man. You got nothing else to do. Maybe you do some security.
Exactly. But I'm not sitting there like this is my job. I'm a security
Yeah, no,
guard.
I can't go back to security either, bro. That shit was because I really was just standing there, and I was like, nah, I wasn't born to just be standing here, bro. I can't do that. I can't do that.
I just think like not
That
to
was a
use the word
personal thing.
not to use the word mindless, but for lack of a better term, like the mindless jobs where you're just wasting away your time and your day. Um, it feels like you're on borrowed time. Like one slip up, one day you're not feeling well, or one fuck up or one mistake, they can in your ass. And I feel like that doesn't process in the mind of someone that is technically skilled or savvy and holds some kind of certification because it's like, okay, I could fuck up. Like I could have an off day. Not saying that they're gonna go about it that way, but they know that all right, well, if I wasn't on my best this day, I still have that job security. And job security matters to people. Like
I
I
heard.
don't I don't know why you're just ignoring that. Like people need to, like you said,
I don't know.
necessity.
Well,
It's a
I
necessity.
honestly, EJ, I don't even know what the fuck is going on right now. I don't know what conversation we're
What's
having.
going
Like, I'm really,
on?
I
real,
don't
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
what's
what
going on either.
conversation y'all having either. TBH.
yeah, I'm really confused because, like, I feel like you're saying I'm saying things I never said.
I
Like,
don't know.
what did I say? I don't know what we're talking about. Like, I
You
mean,
Bro,
didn't
let's just
say, so
we'll
you didn't
reset.
say, hold on. So he didn't say, and Ray could,
I'm the
yeah,
add on
referee.
it.
maybe
Yeah,
Rick could
the
help me.
referee. So you weren't saying that it shouldn't matter if whether or not you could get replaced, right? Like you were saying that, right?
I did say that, yeah. I mean,
And I'm
it's,
saying I'm saying I'm saying it does. I'm saying that does matter to
I
people.
mean, yeah, on like a on a level where you got to feed your wife and children, yeah. But I'm saying like if you
Not
enjoy your
because
job,
not because you're worried about the next person that comes in. You don't give a fuck about the next person that comes in. You're
sure,
worried about what that means for your life if you get replaced,
yeah. But
regardless of who steps in
what
your
I'm,
shoes.
what I'm saying though is if you really like your job, then you probably aren't thinking as much about the job security. Like it probably doesn't really matter that much to you because you enjoy doing it, and you probably aren't even imagining in your head that you're going to lose this job because you like doing it. But even with Marine, like your example about the whole like specialized positions, many of those specialized positions you actually can't afford to make a mistake because like I'm talking about real specialized positions where you're working with actual like complex
Yeah,
machinery
that's
and
what I'm saying. You can't afford to.
you
Yeah.
can't afford to make a mistake.
Or
So
you
that
can't. Oh,
you
okay.
can't. Yeah, you can't afford to make a mistake because you can destroy people's lives, products, all sorts of things. Like you could cause a lot of ramifications from your one tiny mistake. Yeah. Yeah, like even like there are some fields within the corporate world that actually do require brain power, and you actually have to know what you're doing. And like it could be like, let's say you're arranging some information, like a data set, right? You work at a data center or something, and you fuck up with one thing, you could throw all this data out of whack and cause large scale ramifications across an entire industry. Probably affect the fucking entire market with your one with your one little mistake. You know what I mean? So you actually can't have it, especially if you're a fucking doctor. You can't have a fucking off
I
day.
mean, I'm not saying you have a litany of mistakes. I'm not saying that, and
No, I'm
you're gonna have
saying we're
a
not even
job by the end
afforded
of the week.
the one. I mean, when these doctors have their off days and they fuck up someone's life or destroy their spine or something, they get a malpractice suit thrown against them.
I mean, that's a major mistake. I'm not saying
Hmm.
something on that
Unless you're a
level.
cop, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
The union got your back.
facts,
Anyway,
facts.
Yeah, but yeah, let's
But
move on to
yeah,
the.
we can move on. We can move on.
But I'm just gonna say I understand what you're saying. That
no, he doesn't.
obviously specialized fields have more security, and you're definitely gonna feel more safe and less afraid when if you're doing a field that seems like it has an actual like necessity, like it needs to exist. Like
Yeah,
there are very few people that can do this thing. Like even if you want to go beyond like marine biologist or like or fucking archaeologist or something, like a fucking yeah,
Oh,
that example was
he was
bad
not
funny to me.
expecting that. He was not expecting that.
Yeah, I didn't
Not
see that.
expecting that.
But like if you look at a fucking plumber or like a someone who does like stonework or something like that, there are very few people who do that stuff anymore, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot of skill. So
well,
that's
anyone
why
can learn how to do it, right?
Even let's not even last point, and then we could get off the topic. You you can give that person certain allowances as well. Like so, let's not even make it about a mistake, but let's say they're just a shit person. Like he's a shitty person, but he's good at his job.
oh,
Like
like house.
yeah, man, he's amazing. Like he saves lives, he does this and that, and you
Yeah.
can't question his work ethic or what he does at his job, right? Everybody can hate him, but they're not gonna say a damn thing about trying to get him replaced or fire him because who are you gonna find to do that? Who are you gonna find? And if you do find somebody, it's gonna take a long time. And in the food service industry or like the retail industry, you a shit person, shit, they gonna try to find ways to get rid of you.
Or they're just not going to care. So maybe it's a thing where they just don't care enough to replace you. Because I've been a lot of shit people in some of these jobs, and no one seems to care.
If they're
I'm
doing their
not
job
sure.
just good enough, they're not going to care. Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if you're a nuisance to somebody, they're gonna try to make it their fucking
I mean, if you're a
mission.
general nuisance, maybe if you're actually disrupting workflow. But I feel like even at those jobs, like in a specialized thing, if you're such an
It
asshole,
depends on
it's just
who you're fucking, who's messing with who.
You gonna make it your mission to get rid of the
Nah,
Marine
yeah, it
bombers?
depends on who you're
Shit.
pissing off. If you're pissing off the
Shit.
person who has the power to fire you, yeah, you're gonna get fired. But if you're
You're gonna
pissing
get
off
fired.
the person on the lateral level, they're not gonna like. Well,
Nothing
you're gonna go to they're gonna go to your manager, like, bro. This person is doing X, Y, Z, blah blah blah.
Unless
It's like, but they
the only way-
sell more than you, so get your numbers up. Like, go
the
away.
only way it can fuck you over is if the person on that lateral level is big friends with the person.
Yeah, like they got to be butt buddies, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and at that point, it's like.
Like
You
they
might
play
not
squash
even
together
be
type
doing
shit.
anything actually wrong.
Together.
You might not even be doing anything actually wrong. It's just like, well, what I heard from the grapevine, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. That's exactly how I felt when they let me go. I was just like, so this lady don't like me, so I'm gone. All right, goodbye.
Pretty much.
I was
But,
like, deuces. I'm not staying. Like,
I
say
mean,
less.
speaking of the medical industry, as we got into like doctors and specialized fields and stuff, there's a lot of talk about the medical industry, right? And like in recent times, as spirituality became, has become, spirituality spirituality has always been very, attractive to people, and has always been an important part of many people's lives. And when you look at like new age philosophies that started to come about in like the 70s and the 60s and stuff, it's like it's always been one of the biggest things is holistic healing, the idea that medical science does not have all the information to offer. I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think about holistic healing?
I don't know shit about it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
I've
I've been hearing about this for a long time. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea.
Look, man. I am a man of science, and a lot of the times I think about holistic healing. It's just like there's probably just like chemicals in those plants or whatever that are just doing the same shit. That's really it.
Yes and no. It's like sometimes what you're saying is true, where it's like,
Oh, you froze.
Basically, holistic healing, like there are several types of holistic healing. I guess spiritual healing would be different from holistic healing, but I guess we'll get into spiritual healing later. Some people, when they talk about holistic healing, they're actually talking about spiritual healing, and they're talking about shit that is generally stupid, like shit with like healing crystals and like charging yourself and like wearing copper around your wrist, and that will like extend your life and all sorts of goofy stuff that don't make any sense.
Yeah. Like a mood ring.
Yeah, but
I'm fucking around.
That's really what they be talking about. But generally speaking, holistic healing is about the idea that a lot of the things that you need to keep your body in like perfect order and perfect balance can be found in nature. And more often than not, when you're going to doctors to solve these problems, you probably can at least look into solving them naturally yourself before you go to the doctor.
Wait, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask: isn't there like a religion that strongly believes that, where like they won't go to doctors? Like that's a specific one, right?
That's how Steve Jobs died.
Really?
He had cancer and he didn't go to a doctor. That's how he died.
Bob Marley died too, I think.
That man never went in for one physical day in his life. That's crazy.
Because you gotta understand, cancer is a touchy subject, because when people go in for chemo and stuff, that shit can do absolutely nothing to stop the cancer and instead just make you sicker.
Well, yeah, especially if it progressed that fast. Like,
if you have a very strong cancer that they're even considering chemo scorched earth. Okay, like I don't know if people know the extent of what chemo really is. It's scorched earth. Your cancer is so bad that the only option they have is to get rid of everything.
Poisoning your fucking body in hopes that the cancer will die.
Yes, it is literally just trying to get rid of everything.
And it put you in this condition where only thing you could do is lay up the whole time.
Well, so. Because it's so like if you have cancer in your lungs and you're taking chemotherapy, they are radiating your lungs with like some shit. Like they are scorched earth, bro. They are trying their best to just kill the cancer and hope that you survive it.
So like many people have hopes that you can find, because there are in nature natural anti-carcinogenic properties, right? But these things probably aren't going to do anything if you have like really progressive cancer. Like early stages of cancer, you probably can affect with altering your diet and that kind of stuff. Like even a doctor will tell you this to eat certain things if you have a diagnosis, right? Um, so like there's a general fear of going into the doctor and getting, all this chemo and shit or some kind of invasive surgery. Because like what we were just talking about malpractice, like a doctor could fuck up in your brain and cut something they weren't supposed to cut, and now you're retarded.
Wrong cord. My bad.
Or they could fuck up your back and then like make things worse. That happened to someone I know.
Yeah. That's why people don't even want to go into surgeries because there's that hesitation where something could go wrong in surgery and it makes whatever you're going through worse.
Yeah, I used to tell my mom all the time, and she'd say I was crazy. I was joking, but kind of not. I was telling her if I ever get any kind of cancer, I was like, just let me die. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, just let me die. Because I was like, obviously God wants me dead. If he put this thing in me, I was like, maybe I should just listen to him. I was like, maybe you should just accept it and just die. I was like, maybe it's okay. I was like,
you could beat cancer. That's a possibility, even though
you could. But it's like
the chances of you beating cancer, it really does depend on when they find it. And it also depends on what kind of cancer it is, right?
Could be the early stages.
Like if you have like testicular cancer, I think a lot of times they just cut your balls.
Damn, why'd you start with off?
Because it's like something that you can live without. That's why. Like if you get lung cancer, they can't just take your lungs out.
Yeah,
pancreatic is like one of the worst ones, right?
I have no idea.
Brain cancer is also pretty bad too.
One of the more mild ones is melanoma, right? That's skin cancer. Like if you have like a little bit of skin cancer, they could usually just cut off that part of your skin and you're fine. And they'll just tell you just like, hey, stop going out into the hot sun with no sunscreen because you're fucking up. Which, by the way, you probably already fucked up because melanomas they're not, I went out to the sun in Miami that one time last year. No. This shit was years and years ago. Like,
speaking of cancer, it made me think of a hypothetical. I'll save it for later.
I don't even have to do it now. I'm like, save it. But it's like, if I got my cancer around like 70 or something, I think I would just let myself go. Like, I really don't see a point in putting myself through chemo and shit.
What if it's like, it's stage 1, you could just like cut it out?
It depends where it is. I'm not letting them niggas dig in my brain, bro. I'm sorry.
There's not much up there anyway, bro.
Yeah, I'm not letting them cut open my head. If they talk about, we could give you an invasive brain, I'm good, bro. No, you should not. I'm good. It's okay. It's okay. Or my spine, fuck that. Nah, just let me die. You're not cutting my spine so you can sever my fucking spinal cord accidentally and now I can't walk.
I went in for cancer. I came out in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that be happening to people. That shit happens.
I mean, they're trained professionals. It's not likely that they're gonna fuck up like that.
You'd be surprised.
They fuck up a lot.
Surprised. They are human, bro. They are not the new Soviet man. They are regular ass niggas, bro. They are regular ass niggas.
I mean, and the funny thing is, it's funny you mentioned that because one of the things that started
they get paid a lot of money to be regular ass niggas.
Yes, they fucking do. I don't know how you thought I was going to disagree. Like, they are regular niggas, bro.
One of the big things in the medical industry is that idea of bias. Reason a lot of black people turn to holistic healing is because there's a lot of bias in the medical industry.
That's a black people thing?
Yeah, dead ass.
No, dead ass. There's been many studies where they give you less pain meds because they think you have literal thicker skin, that you have a lower like pain threshold. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of bullshit, right?
I thought it was like a Native American thing mainly.
No,
I know
there's a whole bunch of bullshit that goes on where these people who get paid a lot of money will look you in the face and say some wild shit. It's like, black people, they got thicker skin than everyone else. It's like,
no, they never say it. It's just implicit things they're thinking.
No, they will say this shit out loud.
They will.
They will say this shit out loud. It's just the people who matter aren't around to hear it.
No, the point I'm trying to make is it's not mostly their biases show up more often in their actions. That they're not even really thinking about it. They're just doing it because they have these biases that they believe that black people are stronger and all kinds of things and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy stuff, man. There are higher mortality rates among black patients for this very reason, because the doctors don't look at them the same way as the white patients. So that's why many black people turn towards holistic healing, because they distrust the medical industry. And when you look at the medical industry Of
You
course,
fucked
black
up
people.
that whole last sentence, bro. We heard none of that shit, bro.
Wait, is it possible to make a short out of that?
What I was gonna say, what I
The
said.
government don't want to hear. They don't want the truth.
Yeah. You know what's funny you say that? That's what Coach Greg does. That's the joke he always makes. If he's on stream and it starts fritzing or something, he's like, "Oh, you know who that was?" And he presses a button and it goes, "New World Order, new World Order." Like it was like the New World Order stuff.
Through the intercoms.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was gonna say, what I said is that with the history of the medical industry in this country, you can understand why black people are distrusting with all the medical experiments that were performed on
Correct.
black back in the earliest, the 20th, well, back even 18th all the way
Yes.
to the 20th century.
You mean
Yeah.
last week?
I don't know about last week, but what I'm saying
You'd
is
be
like
surprised.
in the 20th century. In the 20th century is mostly when a lot of these experiments were going on. Though the most famous one is the Tuskegee airmen, yeah, the Tuskegee Airmen experiment. But beyond that, there were others. There were others
Yeah, like Genesis, right? They were part of that, right?
I mean, that's not an experiment. I mean, that was a
No,
theory.
I mean, no, not an experiment. Weren't they actively like giving, like not just black people? No, yeah, was it just black people?
Yeah,
Or anyone that was
in Germany.
anyone that wasn't white, they were giving them shit to like
Yeah, well, like
shorten.
in Germany, but this wasn't in this country. But you know, this is an international thing. In Germany, what they wouldn't actively like. I mean, there probably were black people in some of these concentration camps, but they didn't. They targeted the Jews more often than blacks. But what they did with the black people is they gave them like castration medications and that kind of stuff to stop them from
Yeah.
mating with the white population, so that there wouldn't be. And they did that to the mixed race black people as well. In Germany to stop that, so they could keep their race pure in their minds. And in the same thing, there was a scientist, forgot her fucking name. She was in South Africa, I believe, and she was giving these women vaccines, but what she was really giving them was a castration medication that made it so they couldn't have kids anymore. And like,
I remember reading
Yeah,
about that.
they were trying to shorten their existence. That's what I'm saying. They were part of that, like.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So you
okay.
can't blame black people for not trusting, because medical science can be wrong. Like there's a lot of conventional
Yeah,
medical
it
science.
can be wrong. Remember leeches, bro? Leeches cure
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, well, because even when you look at the way people give birth in this country, it doesn't make any sense. Like a lot of people have talked about this. There've been I've read several full papers about this, where like giving birth laying back like that is very bad for you, and it's probably why there's such a high mortality rate in this fucking country when it comes to giving birth. Like I think we have mortality
Jesus.
mortality rates. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
really high for a developed country.
Exactly. Like it shouldn't be that way. And when you look at other countries, they give birth standing up and the baby goes into the water, which is a much safer way of doing it. So like
That shit sounds scary. I ain't gonna lie. Just hit the water.
Why? Why
Oh
does it sound
no.
scary? Oh, think about it. Like, walk through your own mind. Why does it sound scary?
I mean, as a baby, you're not knowing what the fuck's happening, regardless of you going into water or
Bro,
not. But
you're
just
already
the
in
image.
water.
Yeah, you're going from water to more water.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, you got it.
That's why people are like, you can teach a baby to swim by just putting it in water, because the baby's been swimming its whole life.
Yeah, all right. Let's see how many.
No,
that's
that's how you used to teach younger people how to swim. Like you just throw them in the water. Like babies actually already know how to doggy paddle.
Yes, and then they start doing that. There are videos of it. You can literally see the videos of them putting the baby in the water, and the baby immediately just starts going. Like just like a dog. Like a dog does that shit. They just start doing this shit right away. So yeah, the medical industry there's a lot of things about it, especially here in America, a lot of things about it that don't make any sense. And this is part of why people turn towards holistic healing. Because I am a proponent of the fact that before you think that you should take some stupid pill or something, because like I'll use the thing that I'm most knowledgeable about in regards to this. In the fitness industry, right? These fucking idiots. I mean, I take creatine only because it works, and there's a lot of research about it. But like a great example of this is people will sit there with all this pre-workout and protein powder and all this stuff. And it's like, if you just have a balanced fucking diet, you don't need any of that stuff. And as a matter of fact, you don't need it anyway. Like protein powder, if you're eating enough protein in your diet, you do not need protein powder. Protein powder is just there to fill in the gaps in case you're not eating enough protein. But it actually wouldn't be that hard to just eat enough protein. Like you could easily do it. Just like look at your meals, focus on what you're putting in there, and arrange it in a certain way, and you'll have enough protein. You do not need to touch a piece of protein powder. But people always want to jump towards some like super science fixer upper. It's like, oh, super science is gonna save me. And it's like, no, you just eat a balanced diet, and that's actually to solve most of the problems in your life. Eat a balanced fucking diet, and most of your health issues will be okay. Like eat a balanced diet. Um, like avoid certain things. Like because the thing is, living in a city, there are a lot of things in the city that can impact your health. Like we have all this smog and all this stuff around us. Like that leads to a lot of the conditions that people have. Things like that. And as as funny as it may sound, people don't realize this. Something as simple as dyeing your hair too often can fucking give you like a form of cancer. Like there are carcinogens in many things that we eat and use like normal. We have no idea. So yeah, usually if you're eating a balanced diet and living like a balanced, healthy lifestyle, like going out in the sun often, not like of course with adequate protection like sunscreen and all that stuff, like Ray was saying, but like going out into the sun, breathing in a little bit of like fresh air, like nature, like you're not breathing in all these fucking car fumes all the time. You're like going for a nice little walk in the park every once in a while, working out adequately. You don't and lifting heavy weights is not healthy. This is what people need to realize. Like I do that shit only because it's fun, but you do not have to lift healthy weights in order to be healthy.
You don't gotta lift healthy weights, bro.
Oh Jesus, you don't gotta lift heavy weights to be healthy. You can just do a couple of push-ups and some yoga shit, and just eat a balanced diet. You will be fine, right? Um, like yeah, as long as you live a balanced, healthy lifestyle where you're eating balanced foods and that kind of stuff, you'll be okay. You'll have decent health, And it's also a mental thing. You have to keep your brain healthy as well, because your whole body is this like clockwork organism that works together. Like your brain affects your body affects your brain, and so on and so forth. Like that's just how it works. Like even conventional science is talking about this. Because like one of the things that people do that I think is very dumb is we have this stupid mind body separation thing where we look at it as like it's a duality. It's like, nah, man, it's on your mind, bro. You can free yourself by by freeing your mind. And it's like, sure, I guess, but also if you're doing bad shit to your body, it can affect your mind too, you fucking idiot. It's like that your mind is a fucking organ. It's an organ just like everything else in your body. It's like if you're not treating your mind correctly, like if you're eating certain foods that can literally affect the way you think. Like it's just how it works. Like fucking look at when you eat a fucking Thanksgiving turkey. That shit can actually slow down your thought processes and make you sleepy. But one thing I want to mention is what do you guys think of chiropractic?
I don't know, cause like I told you, I was in this car accident, and I would go to like, bro, I don't think they did shit. I was like in this physical therapy stuff, and like I'm not even saying like physical therapy does not work. I'm not saying that. I would never say that. I was saying like there are certain like
Yeah, I'm about to say y'all been shitting on all these fists.
no. I was just like if you go to someone who isn't on the up and up, you are going to leave with this like narrow view of what's true, right? And like it'll put a bad taste in your mouth. You're not going to trust anything anymore. So like,
Yeah, but
no, listen. So like I went to like the physical therapist, and they were like doing all these things to my back or whatever, and like I would literally leave feeling worse than I went. And then like some days I couldn't make it, and I'd be like, I feel so much better than I didn't go. And so
I mean that's one of the reasons people don't trust medical science sometimes. They'll go and get some kind of treatment, it'll make them feel worse. And they're just like,
see, but that's why I'm trying to like clarify. It's like if you go to someone who's on the up and up, like if you go to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, but they're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk, you're gonna start distrusting that shit, bro. Like I was actually talking to my friend today, and she was getting acupuncture, and she was asking me if I've ever done it or whatever. And like from her description, it seems like it's actually like helping her a lot. And like I never
There's a
thought
lot
that
of,
shit was
actually,
true.
there's a lot of research on acupuncture therapy. Like it's interesting. I've
Yeah,
never tried it,
but
but
like from the way that it was been depicted for a long time, like you would think it was all jokes, right? Like every time
yeah,
you see acupuncture in like a mainstream media thing, it's always like you go into this really shady Asian like area, like use the back of some Chinese restaurant, right? Looks like a very like negative thing a lot of times in media.
I don't know about that.
Bro, come
I,
on,
people
you know what
present
I'm
it.
talking about.
I've never seen it presented as like some shady back alley thing. I've seen it presented as like this goofy thing that maybe like rich people do, and like that like it's like a silly thing, like those silly rich people, you know. Like you'll see like the white soccer mom in the movies and shows doing it, it's meant to make her look like some silly fop, you know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
like she's doing that silly thing that doesn't make any sense. You see how those rich people don't know what to do with their money? You know, that's the way I see it presented in a lot of movies and stuff. But I remember I knew this girl who swore on chiropractic, and these motherfuckers believe that shit can cure cancer and all sorts of things.
I don't know
Um,
about all that.
yeah, because like the way she told me was she had a cyst and like the doctors didn't know. Basically, she was lying because I
Wait,
don't
I was
think she
like, she
went.
has a cyst, and the doctor cracked her back, and her cyst went away.
No, because they don't just do that.
I know, but I was like the idea is like, yeah, I had this cyst, and like the other doctors didn't know what to do, so I went to my chiropractor, and he's like, I got you, and your cyst just
Yeah,
goes away. It's just
yeah.
so funny.
The chiropractor was able to feel the cyst and like affect it and like affect the pain or something by maneuvering her. I think it was like in this area. Um, and like her sister was studying to be a chiropractor. And I was just trying to point out, I was like, I don't feel like I don't have anything specifically against chiropractic, but I was like, maybe your positive, because I think her mother also swore on chiropractic. So I was like, I was like, the thing is, you grew up in a family with immense respect for these people. So your view is kind of biased. I was like, it might be
Yes,
that you just, yeah, as I was trying to explain, because the things she would tell me made no fucking sense. I was like, why would a chiropractor be able to do this and a doctor wouldn't? I was like, a doctor could do that. I was like, they could do the same thing. It's like, yeah, but a chiropractor could do it without the medicine. And it was like, but what she was describing didn't make any sense. Like,
yeah, it's like, and like I was saying, like it's just like because of my negative experience, I like kind of distrust the idea of that shit. Her
yeah,
positive experience, she kind of was really like all about that shit.
yeah,
So like that's why I
yeah,
was like, I don't know.
yeah. Well, I mean, the chiropractic though has some weird origins in that like it was a quack science. Like literally, it might not be a quack science anymore, but it was a quack science when it first came to be. Like it was completely made up and fabricated. It was like a spiritual healing process. Um, it might have evolved past that now. I have no idea because even like there are many people who are anti. This is funny because you were talking about psychologists earlier. There are many people who are anti-psychiatry, like anti that field of psychology. They don't believe it's real.
You
And
got
if
you
you
got different types of psychology though. But yeah, go ahead.
true, but like, 'cause if you look at even if you look at something like psychology, you could probably say it was a quack science when it first came about. I mean, some of the biggest the fathers of modern psychology, like Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, are lambasted very often by modern psychologists. Like they don't really like to support what they used to talk about because they claim it's anti-scientific. Um,
So you're
but
telling
there are
me
many
you
people.
don't want to fuck your mom?
Jeez, I mean, he never said, whatever.
Yeah, but that's all. Whenever anyone talks about Freud, that's all they talk about.
Exactly, because there's a misunderstanding of a
Yeah,
point that
Oedipus, man.
a misunderstanding. But yeah, I mean chiropractic, I'm like middle of the line on it. I don't know anything about it. So I never try to like I'm not like other people like that shit's fake, nigga, because I don't know anything. So I'm not gonna say that. It's like
All right,
because like
so we gotta go undercover and get some chiropractic.
yeah, I'm gonna do it. Maybe I might do it and make a video. Like see, because they say it's good for your pain. Because it's good for pain management. I know that, and that makes sense to me. That like snapping, or I don't want to say snapping,
You
but
wanna know
like
what's
fix
another thing?
what?
It's a thing that like apparently it's just a lot of Westerners. Like apparently our bodies are really stiff. Like like if you go and get a massage from like an Asian masseuse, they're like always like, yeah, like Americans, like especially like Westerners in general, like our bodies are very stiff. Like we do not stretch at all. Like we don't stretch.
Yeah, I
Hey,
gotta
man.
do it again. I used to do that every morning, but I stopped for a little bit, so now I'm gonna start doing it again.
You ain't gonna do shit.
Yo, EJ, you stretch, bro?
I was
Hell
doing
no. I
it.
get
Can you
up
touch
out
your
my
toes, bro? You touch your toes?
bed.
I was
Nah,
in
You
man.
can't
Nah.
touch your toes from a standing position?
I
What's
was
it bad?
Well, let me see something. I want to test that.
You know,
Man.
touch it. Yo, EJ, can you touch your toes from a standing position? Yo, come on, bro. You can go further than that, right? Does it,
I
does it,
can't reach him.
you can't reach your
Oh,
toes,
god
bro?
damn, I could.
Nigga, you gotta stand up. Shut the fuck up.
My legs are pretty long though.
All right, let me see if I can do it. Hold on.
My legs are pretty long, so like my legs are. I think they're not in proportion with my
This,
back.
this is the fitness part of the stream. Y'all bear with us.
I
Were
can't
you able
do
to?
it. I can touch my toes.
Oh, nice.
Even after the accident. Isn't that impressive?
I mean, I was always a very flexible person, so
You ain't chilly, bro?
nah, bro. We didn't have a cheerleading squad, bro. We barely had a basketball team. Remember that?
That's cool too. Yeah,
I used to be
Yeah.
able to. I was double jointed in my arms. I could make them go all the way around, but I haven't done that in years now.
Do you have the hitchhiker's thumb?
But what does that mean?
Or the one that it goes back. It's like the
Like,
nah. Yeah, nah, you don't got it. You don't
I
got
don't know
it.
what
You
you're
don't
talking
got it.
about.
Like it got that bend to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes all the way back. Just look it up. Just look it up.
I don't know what
Like
you're talking
your
about.
finger got to be like this.
Yeah, it don't bend, man. It don't bend.
Yeah, I
Is
don't know what you're
mine
talking about. Let me look it up. Show on stream.
Is mine bending or no?
Hitchhiker's
Yeah.
thumb.
It's your regular man.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
man. You should don't do that.
I
You should
don't
don't do
like
that.
that. I don't like that.
Sure, I need to see it now.
Yo, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Nah. I mean,
What the blood clot?
yeah,
Nah, these are real.
yeah, I don't
These
like,
are real.
I don't like that.
Yeah, you never met anybody who was like that?
No, I
You
don't
should
think
like
I've ever
that.
seen someone just their whole.
It's very
Nah.
prevalent in the black community, bro. You sure?
These look like cartoons. They don't even look. They don't look real.
That shit is real, bro.
Nah, bro. Now I gotta ask.
I ain't never heard of
I'm gonna ask all my siblings. That's like 30 niggas right there. Let me see.
that.
There it is, right there. He is a big.
What do y'all gotta have it? What do y'all gotta have it?
Now let me text my
All right.
brother right now. Hold on. Where his number?
I think one of the things.
Yo, ask your sister, bro.
Later, man. People talk about like
He
people.
said, I ain't trying to conversate with.
Yeah,
Ain't trying to get into that.
people try to talk like people always have this opinion. It seems that like science and faith have to be mutually exclusive. Like you can't have both.
Bro, science is a faith.
That's a great one. Say that.
I mean, faith is naturally a
Why do
belief
you-
when you just
why
look
do
at the
you say
term
that?
itself.
Why do you
What?
say science?
I mean, you gotta believe in something, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you have to like believe in the thing that you're studying for it to like have the answers that you're looking for, right? So like, for example, back in the day, before we even really understood anything about gravity, you had to be like, well, I'm not just flying off the ground. Something's holding me here. Like, what is that? Like, you have to believe in that idea, and then like you search for the answers, right? And then like you stumble upon the answers. You find gravity. You find atoms. You find this. You find that. But like before we get to the point where we are today, someone a long time ago had to believe in a lot of shit. And if you look at old philosophy, they really are just talking about a lot of scientific principles. They just didn't know what the fuck they were talking about yet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, hermetic philosophy. Has a lot of scientific
They
principles.
didn't know what they was on.
Like they
They
were
was on the side, but they didn't know what they was on.
like you read those philosophical papers and whatever, and they're like, oh, they're describing X, Y, Z. They're describing that. They're describing this. But like because it wasn't a thing that they knew about yet, it doesn't sound as believable or as like coherent. It's not there yet.
They would notice something, and then they would develop an idea on why that thing happens, and sometimes it would correspond to the truth. But it's like they didn't have like a method yet, like a comprehensive method to actually test their beliefs yet.
Mm-hmm.
They developed later.
Also, the average person that just relies on science heavily, it's on a faith basis because they're not sitting there. They're accepting whatever answers that science give them. They're not sitting there verifying it or looking through the data, or they're just They're just trusting that those answers are correct.
There are a lot of atheists like that who are armchair scientists, where they just sit there reading whatever stupid scientific paper comes out, and they go about. They're just like sitting there. They don't know anything about science. They just know shit that they've read, and they'll parrot whatever stupid science thing they've read at you and try to demean you for your faith. When they, again, like you just said, are another disciple of just a different faith, of the scientific faith. Scientism, as we made a whole video about that.
Yeah, because when you choose to believe in something without, trying to verify the veracity of it,
My brother said no.
when you choose to believe in something without verifying the veracity behind it, you're just someone that believe, like, has faith. You're going based off of the possibility it could be true. That's all it is.
Yeah. But
without knowing, you don't know. You don't know.
But like on one hand, like I believe that they don't have to be exclusive. That you can believe in the scientific principle and scientific method and all that kind of stuff, and also have like your faith and things you believe in based on faith without any need for like. Well, there's like, it's weird, right? Because in faith, there is a method. There's like a faith method. I was like a spiritual method where you have to like actually do certain kinds of study in order to reach spiritual meaning and like transcendence, right? It's not the same as the scientific method, but it's similar. Like there is a method that you have to follow. It's just like it's not as hard pressed in logic. It's more about like going within yourself and that kind of thing and unlearning certain beliefs. Like that's a huge part of it, right? But at the same time, I do believe that there are scientific principles that you should believe and should follow. And you don't have to distrust science completely in order to be a man of faith. And at the same time, I don't believe you should fully in like, what's the word I'm looking for? Immerse yourself into faith without any bearing, without any weight of the real world, right? So I don't know why I'm talking in such a weird roundabout manner, but I don't believe you should be like take a Christian, for example. There are many Christians who are fundamentalists in that they look at the Bible as like, did someone just fart?
Yeah, no, I heard that too.
But
it sounded like someone just said something. I was like, what?
But anyways, I was gonna say,
yo, that's funny.
Wait, you heard it then? You heard it too? You ain't hear it? I mean, he did it, bro. He did it.
It happens, man. I don't think I did, but it happens.
I can't. Well, it doesn't rhyme. It's usually smelt it, dealt it, but you heard it.
Anyway, you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't hear it.
Yeah, but anyways, these guys, when they believe the Bible as in like the things in there actually happened, and it must like everything in the Bible is true in a literal sense.
Bro, you don't remember the flood? You weren't there? You weren't there with your boy Moses in the flood? That was wrong. That was Noah. That was the wrong guy. That was the wrong guy. Bro, you don't remember Joseph and his robe of 7 colors though?
Nah, bro, you already messed up the first time.
You messed up. You can't double back now.
Noah was one of the most famous characters in the Bible. Are you good?
Bro, I was just thinking water, and I was like, who dealt with the water? I was like, oh, Moses dealt with water.
He did. He did deal with some water. But yeah, it's like, I don't believe that you should be completely blinded by your faith or by science. Like,
I mean,
because remember,
yes. There's nothing else to say. It's yes.
I mean, to a degree, you can't help. And I was having the same conversation with my uncle about this. Like, the average person, we put a large majority of our faith in society. Like when we were talking about the medical professionals earlier, right? Like the chiropractors, or if we go to a physician or even a psychologist, because some of the stuff has obviously proven outcomes, like it's provenly successful outcomes. Obviously, there's that there's those cases where things go wrong, like you say, malpractice. But generally, we go to get a prescription for something, and off the basis that it's gonna cure, if not treat, whatever it is that we have. But we can't go all the time and I mean, I don't know anybody that does this, but I'm pretty sure there's probably people out there that go and examine everything or have to get a second opinion before they, if we're talking about like getting a pill or taking a prescription. But even like if you want to take it to going to get some food, right, from a restaurant, you're going in there off the basis that you're not going to die from the food, right? There's other patrons there that's eating, like they didn't poison the food, right? So I'm just trying to say how we have faith in a lot of people in society to take care of services that we go to for them, and that's how we go about our lives every day. And when it comes
Yeah.
to the science part of it, um, that's why a lot of people rely heavily on science without questioning it, because it's come to inform a lot of how society functions, like the technology, the medical industry, to like where we are now currently. So it been too
Really?
many, hasn't really been too many examples of it not working for people to not to just drop the faith altogether.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, society in general is usually informed by faith as well, like
Yeah,
society and structure and that kind of thing. Like here in America, we're influenced very heavily by Western religion.
ideals. Yeah,
Yeah, Judaism and that kind of stuff. And you have like in China, well, China became more influenced by Western world later. But before China, Japan, they had more Zen philosophies that influenced their literal building structures and like the way their society was structured.
I mean,
But I would say
all countries really have like the strong faith design dictates
exactly,
how they like live. One, like the
yeah,
communal structure, the building structure, because they build buildings based on necessity, right?
yeah. Well, that was a great point you made about society in itself being a form of faith, like being like there's a comprehensive religion almost as how society should operate that we have to accept
Yeah, there's the
and
overall
believe.
like morals thing that we all agree
I,
to,
I've
right?
heard I've heard that from atheists. That's their number one argument. Like, I don't have faith, but what I do have is like a proven outcome, like it's like a proven success rate, which is they use as a form of data, right, to strengthen their argument as to, okay, I'm gonna go to this practitioner because I know what results they get. Like that's something that they can um look at as like evidence.
See, but that's
But
kind
that's
of
still faith at the end of the day. That's still faith.
yeah,
That's still a form of faith.
it's faithful, and it's also kind of stupid because it's like you don't have access to all the information. So
Mhm.
you may be looking at a select presentation of data that is giving you the idea that this thing is effective, and then maybe there's other data that you have not looked at because of your own bias. And they're never going to want to have a discussion like that. Atheists are the biggest example. If you do not want to have a discussion with any atheist, because atheists are one of the most. When we start talking about like bad faith arguing,
I mean, you don't have to do that. I mean, I'm
no,
pretty
I'm
sure
gonna
not.
do it. I'm gonna
You
do
you
it.
gonna put all atheists in one kind of
No,
pocket?
no, no. I'm
That's
not.
crazy.
No, not all atheists are bad. I mean, well, you know what? Yes, I am. Atheism is a dumb concept, and I'll say atheism is a dumb concept right now. The reason I'll say it's a dumb concept is because, like we're saying, humans have faith fucking bred into them. You have faith-based
It's
beliefs.
built in. It really is
Yes,
literally
you
built
are
in.
you are a faithful person. So the idea that you are an atheist, that you believe in nothing, is dumb. The word is dumb in itself. And the I when people say there's no God, and you're like, oh, I don't believe there's a God and that kind of stuff, or any specific religion, yeah, sure, I'll give it to you. You could say you're agnostic and you don't believe in a specific religion, but whatever. Maybe you don't believe in
No,
God.
agnostic still believes in some, like there's some kind of power. They just don't know what that
Sure,
power
sure,
is.
sure, exactly.
But atheism
Believes there
is
is no
just
power. Yeah.
it's just there is no God. That doesn't mean that I mean you obviously there's spectrums to it. Like
Yeah.
even with politics, you have people that are more extreme within
Exactly.
atheism where
Well, that's the thing.
they fall into that.
You have honest atheists, and then you have atheists who are bad faith arguers and want to be armchair scientists. So a guy like
Mhm.
Sam Harris, he admits that he has faith, and he's into very like
Yeah.
transcendental kind of like spiritual faiths, like he meditates and that kind of stuff. But he just doesn't believe in like specific religious like theology and that kind of stuff. And like he doesn't believe in any specific religious theology, but he has faith based beliefs that he will literally talk about, and he talks about them on his podcast. But then you have like the less honest ones who just want to argue with people and just want to be like, fuck religion. You know, you have those kind of guys who are very bad faith arguers and that kind of stuff. Like I'm telling you, go have a conversation with some of these people. I've seen videos.
I mean,
and
that's
like,
what that guy Ghazi was trying to do to homeboy
yes,
Ryan.
exactly. And there was even I remember there was this atheist church that was in the news that it was such a goofy and stupid
Atheist
concept.
church? Come on,
Yeah.
that doesn't even make any sense. Like, how do you gone full circle?
Yeah, it was so stupid. They were sitting there like doing all the stuff you do in church, like singing and dancing, and it was just like
that. What are they dancing about? What are you dancing? What are you all gathering there to do? Like what is the sermon about? Like what stories are you telling? What messages are you giving?
What are the guys from Naruto again? What are the guys called again?
Akatsuki? I love being fucking.
Yeah, they gathering in the dark. Like I love being a fucking atheist.
No, I generally, bro. We gotta go to an atheist church now.
Yeah, that would be fun. Maybe they'll let us bring cameras in and we can record the experience.
We gotta say that we're trying to spread the word of atheism.
Come on, be like, I'm a changed man.
We gotta. Can we be atheist missionaries? Is that a thing? We just go. We go to spread the word of our Lord and Savior that there isn't one.
Hold on.
Are you looking it up?
Why do I feel like I've seen something like that? Was that in South Park? Was that in South Park? Wasn't there something like that? Oh my god. Nah, there's no way.
Atheist missionary.
Hold on, it says let me see. Oh no, it's a guy. It looks like it's a guy who converted from atheism to a missionary. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like there are any atheist missionaries. Okay. Well, that's a funny idea. Maybe we should.
No. Here's this guy he was a missionary, but without Jesus. That's what this says right here.
But he wasn't.
Religion was saving the environment.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't preaching atheism, though, right?
He's preaching something.
Oh, I think you're reading the same thing I was reading. But he, like I said, he gave his heart to God. So he didn't stay. It'd be a funny concept. Maybe we should make a video of being atheist missionaries. Oh, now I'm remembering what I'm remembering. Eric, not Eric.
Oh well, this is Reddit, so I'm not surprised that they thought about
those
this.
niggas need to touch grass. Yeah.
But, indeed.
What I was gonna say though is there was an episode of the Eric Andre show where one of their skits they were outside preaching Scientology, like like the black Israelites who be on the street corners with the signs and stuff. You guys ever seen black Israelites?
No.
Oh, you guys don't know what those guys are?
No.
That's what Kyrie Irving was being accused of being, and that's why they were so mad at him. The black Israelites believe that the original Jews were black, and there's like a whole theology based on this. And they believe like white people stole the identity of the Jews from black people, and the current Jews we see are not actually Jews. They stole the identity, but they be on street corners preaching. Now you can find them around like 125th very often. They used to do it sometimes around where I used to live. They go all around, right? They're very aggressive in their preaching too. Like they be yelling and shit. And you can even find videos of them getting into it. People getting angry at them because they say some shit that gets people mad. Like they'll preach that white people are the devil and that kind of stuff.
In Chinese, white people is literally it's like white devil. That's literally.
Yeah. So, anyways, I remember he had
not like in all of the Chinese language, but a very popular term is white devil.
Yeah, he had a skit where he was on the street corner with other guys dressed up like the black Israelites, but they were preaching Scientology. They were like, his name wasn't L. Ron Hubbard, it was L. Ron Hoyibimbe or some shit. Or some shit like that. That shit killed me. That shit was so funny. We got to do that, but for atheism, we got to dress up with the costume, have signs, and be yelling on the street like, "There is no God. God was a concept created by the white man." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could do that, man. I'll do a recorder.
Oh man.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that.
Nah, he can do that.
See, isn't it funny that you guys EJ will walk up to some bitches and talk to them and look at them and
I
say
ain't do nothing. I ain't do
He
nothing.
ain't do nothing. He
I
ain't
ain't
do
do
nothing.
nothing.
right?
I ain't do
Those
nothing.
people can say whatever utterly ridiculous
This
things they
man
want,
right here is a liar.
right? But then here's the thing. But then why is it so weird? That's the funny thing. It's weird. Like maybe I might have apprehension about walking up to some random girl sometimes and talking to her, and it's only sometimes. But when it comes to a fucking joke, I'm willing
See,
to do
you
anything.
want to know why I don't want to do it? I just don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's funny.
hilarious.
If I thought it was
that's-
funny, I'd be right there with you, bro. I just don't think it's that funny.
Right?
Nah. You would.
And last thing
I was down. I was down, and then it just stopped being
If
funny.
you thought it was funny, you'd not put on a costume and
I literally just said if I thought it was funny, I'd be down. Did I not just say those words?
Don't make it repeat yourself. Don't make it repeat yourself.
You're not gonna angrily preach at people for fucking atheism as a joke. That's not your personality. I could not see you
If
doing
I
that.
thought it was funny,
It's
I
personality,
said
so
I'd be down to do it with you. I'd stand there with you, and you have to do all the talking, but I'd stand there with you.
Yeah.
But it's just not funny.
Now, you guys ever seen what was it called?
No.
Was it the Man Show? Was it the Man Show with Jimmy Kimmel?
Who's that?
He was in the Man Show, yeah.
Yeah, the Man Show. They had a skit where they were holding up signs where it said what was it? It was against women's suffrage, right? But they were
I don't think I saw that one, but I've seen people talk about, are you against women's suffrage? And people's like, yes. And
because they were basing it on the idea that a lot of people don't know what that term means, suffrage.
Yeah.
Right? That it basically means voting, but that they wouldn't know. So they were holding up signs saying, "Yeah, we're against. Are you guys against women's suffrage? We don't want women to suffer." And he's like,
No,
"You
he
guys
didn't
should sign
say
this."
that. He didn't say they don't want women to suffer. They made the assumption on their own.
No, he was saying that though. He was saying that in the skit.
I don't think he said the suffering part. I think that
He did. He did. He did say that part. Yeah, he was like, "You guys, if you guys are against women suffering, then you should sign this petition right here." They were signing the petition.
Remember the one? There was one where they're like, "Should this man?" It was like Lex Luthor. And they're like, "Are you angry?" This was in the Jimmy Kimmel show. They're like, isn't it terrible that Lex Luthor was allowed? I don't think they said the name. They showed like a picture or something of like Lex Luthor. He's been allowed to be whatever member of the cabinet thanks to Trump, and people were just like, that really is crazy. Like I don't think like showing that these people who claim to be informed don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Hold on, give me a quick second. I just gotta respond to this.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can keep talking. You guys can talk.
See, but you were literally in the middle of something. You were literally saying something. That's why this always happens. He's in the middle of saying something, and he's like, "You guys can keep talking." It's like, "Nigga, you were talking."
I mean, it's just.
And then we go on about our own conversation, and you're
Well,
like,
"Oh, you're gonna go right back to it too."
Yeah, we go back to your point. Like, nah, we talk about something else now. Well,
show.
Trying to skedaddle your way into
it. Pick up the slack.
Pick up the slack. You need
a. But I mean, you guys both agree. You guys both agree that humans need faith in general, right?
No,
would you
actually, I
I
don't believe in
every,
anything.
Back to my point about society. Every day we're an example of that.
You must believe that hairline that has any effect because.
Oh, come on, man.
Sign off. Just gonna.
See, that's what we doing, man. That's what we doing. Couldn't wait to get that in there. Couldn't wait.
Or I could have went the other route. Like, you clearly don't believe in anything because you don't believe in hairlines. I could have said that too.
Every day we're a living example of the faith, or that faith concept. Because, like I said, who's going around verifying every single thing to make sure that it is in fact, what they believe.
So what are some personal faiths you guys can identify yourselves as having?
Personal faiths.
Yeah.
I believe that I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. That's really it.
Never really thought about it.
That's really it. That's like not the extent of my faith, because like I really do. It's
Yeah.
more like I personally don't believe in any specific higher power, right? But look, man, there might be. I don't fucking know. It's just like that's just
Yeah.
not important right now. Well, what I focus on is trying to like be a better person. That's really it. I was like, all right, can I myself just be a better person? And what that
No.
means specifically,
No.
I mean, I'm already great. You're right. Thanks, CJ. Thanks for that. My boy. um, but it's really it's like, all right, what can I do to be a better person than I was yesterday? Type shit. And that's really it. Yeah, I gotta believe in myself, right? That's really it. So
I guess one of my personal beliefs will be towards like morality. Like when people say are like you got the most villainous people in society, right? Like got security I almost said security. Ain't nothing wrong with security. Serial killers, right? And people will make the claim that like all people are capable of doing good, right? But I have the belief that like there's no deep down of what you could be or what you are, right? It's just what you show people. It's what is that really like there isn't no mixed bag of morality. I kind of believe that like there isn't like what you show people is what you are. Like if you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person.
So like objectivism, kind of. There's
Yeah,
good.
like if there's some hidden potential to be a good person or to change who you are, I guess it could exist. But I don't believe in like deep down you can uncover that self. I mean, uncover that part of yourself. Like it is what it is. Like if you choose to live your life a certain way, and that way is destructive towards others or destructive to yourself, that's just what you are. I think that's the ultimate truth behind it.
Hmm,
I tend to believe that about most people.
interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
I have the belief that much like you guys, I don't believe in a specific higher power, but I believe more in like what Ray said, trying to be a good person, trying to be a better person. And like some of the ideas I have are that like if you're living your life in a good way, and me and Emilio or Ref usually agree on this matter, where I believe if you're living your life in a healthy way, as illogical as this may sound to some people, if you're living your life in a good way, in a healthy way, and being good to people, I feel like it affects your health and affects even the way you look to a degree. I think you're more full of life, have a more lifelike appearance
yeah,
based on what you're doing. That's one of the beliefs I have. Like I said, as illogical as it may sound to other people, this is just something that I believe in, based on things I've read, of course, and yeah, and I believe like the way you're living definitely affects your, like I said, your health, your mentality, and everything. When I say the way you're living, I don't mean like just exactly how you're eating and stuff. I mean the way you treat people, the way you think, all that kind of stuff. I really feel like and there's actually science that kind of supports this idea too. Is specifically in the way you think, like the things you tell yourself, can actually affect your overall health. But I feel like on a on an extensive level, also the way you treat people and that kind of stuff affects um like the way your health and like the things that are happening in your life. I really do believe if you live your life in a certain way, sure bad times will come, but you'll be able to get past the storm and you'll have more good times than bad based on how you're living your life. This
yeah.
is my personal belief. Um, so yeah, that's like I mean there are some I can get into hermeticism, but that's like a deep dive. Like there's a lot of hermeticism stuff that I've read about that I believe in. And like
I
oh
just
yeah.
I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna say,
say go ahead.
sexual transmutation is something I also believe in, where I do believe you can transmute your sexual energy. I feel like you can transmute any energy, to be honest, not just sexual. It is a hermetic principle as well. I feel like any energy can be transmuted into something else. Like anger can be transmuted, that kind of stuff. Sadness can be transmuted, and this is proven. Like when someone has a tragedy in their life, they turn it into art. That kind of stuff, or turn it into a book,
Yeah,
right? I feel like the same thing can happen with sexual energy. You can transmute your sexual energy into other things like work, into your health, into your mentality, all sorts of things. But yeah, keep going, EJ. What were you gonna say?
now I was gonna say like back to what I was saying earlier about the whole thing about morality. Like I remember watching these shows and they try to paint this character to be like this anti-hero or this redeeming character where like he has this he has traits of being good, but it's like you kind of lose that or you kind of don't feel that when they when they do one small good act, but then they instantly follow that up with a bunch of horrible shit. So I think I think that's how people tend to look at other people where they'd be like, "Oh nah, but he did this yesterday," and it's like, so it's like you have to judge somebody like by their whole record, not just okay,
I mean,
well he's on the right track.
yeah, I judge people based on like wholly the things they do. So like
Yeah,
even if they do have a few bad things they've done, if they generally do good things, I will consider them a good person. Or generally, well, I actually don't believe in the idea of good or bad people for the most part. So I guess I'm speaking directly against what you were saying. I think no, actually, I'm wrong. I do think there's pure evil. I think that exists. I think there are people who are just sick and like black
yeah,
into the core, black into the core, and there's something wrong with
yeah,
them,
like
right?
Bishop. Yep.
Oh yeah, there's something not right with them, and they need help, right? And sometimes you can help those kind of people, but I think more often than not, they're far gone. Like there's really no helping them. But actually, no, I don't want to say that because there's a lot of examples of people like that actually
Hold on.
being, led into
Jeremy.
the light. But I also believe that there's no real good people. Like I feel like it's more like you can do good things, but you still have your normal human impulses. I feel like a lot of people like to pat themselves on the back because they do like performative actions that make them
Yeah,
feel like they're a great person. You know, like people love saying like I'm a great person. It's like no, you're not. It's like just last week you were fucking some other guy's girlfriend. You're not a great person. you
yeah.
know.
I remember BoJack was talking about that where like somebody be shitty to you and then they do this grand gesture to make up for it. It's like it doesn't change what you did. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
and like I like to believe in second chances and somebody has the potential to change, but if you have this repeated history of falling into the same old pattern of
Yeah.
behavior,
I'm not gonna
um
let you burn me thrice, you know?
yeah, I'm not gonna keep giving you chances. So at the end of the day, like even if you have shown that you can be a good person, it's not maintaining itself for long stretches of time.
And
So ultimately, I have to judge you by that's what I was saying. The sum of your actions
some
as a
of your
whole.
actions, yeah. And the other thing is like when people apologize for things, I've always hated
Yeah,
that concept. Like it's different if like it's like a small thing, you're like, oh man, I'm sorry that I did that, blah blah, right? But
yeah,
it's like I would hate when people do something very bad to me that they clearly meant. They clearly meant to do this thing. And then they apologize for it. Like your apology does not absolve you of any sin or anything. You didn't change anything because you said sorry. You still did the fucking thing. It still happened. And because like they'll say sorry and like I said sorry to you and you're still mad at me. It's like
yeah.
who gives a fuck if you said sorry? You still did it. It's like what? You said sorry? Did you go back in time? You the fucking Flash? Like did sorry like rewrite time and make it so it didn't happen? It's
There's
like
an
I'm still
Adventure Time
allowed.
episode about that.
What'd you say?
There's an Adventure Time episode about that.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause it's like, yeah, it's like I should be allowed to feel, even if you want to feel guilt for it, sure, I should still be allowed to feel angry about it if it's something that really affected me, really impacted me. But one thing I'll say though, Ray kind of made this point. Like faith in oneself, I think is one of the things where logic, like people try to act like you have to be logical, but I mean, as me and Ray have had many conversations, humans are not logical. We're not logical people. Um,
They're not
and the thing is,
optimal.
like, huh?
They're not optimal.
Yeah. So like the thing is, I feel like faith in oneself is where logic has to be eschewed. Like, sure, you should have logical like assumptions of your abilities, right? But at the same time, true faith in yourself, you kind of have to like just think that you're gonna be able to do this
Yeah,
thing, or think
sometimes
it's
you
gonna
just
work
gotta send it,
out.
bro.
Yeah, you just like, oh, it's gonna work out, and you just do it, you know, or like, or whatever happens, happens, and you just do it, you know, like just have the faith that somehow you're gonna make it work. Because even
Yeah,
when you say whatever happens, happens, you're not saying, oh man, if I fucking die, whatever. No,
Yeah,
what you're saying
yeah.
is, this might not work, but
At least you
I'm
tried.
I'm trusting myself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely at
Yeah.
least I tried thing, not a if I die, I die. There are two different mentalities there. And if I die, I die, and if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. So like yeah, because I remember I was watching a video by that guy Step So Cold actually, and it was kind of a funny video. It was funny to me because the video was titled Five Things You Need to Boost Your Confidence as a Man or whatever, and I just watched it out of curiosity because I was like, I didn't think he was going to impart any wisdom on me or anything. He did say some things I think were pretty interesting, but he only listed three things, and that's the part that shit had me dying. I was like, you only said three stuff, bro, and I started dying. I was like, did he leave that as a joke? Because I would have left it as a joke. I would have found that funny. But one of the things he was talking about, where he was like, if you're gonna go approach a girl, he says you gotta approach them on the idea that you are the shit, that you already got them, that you're gonna do it. And I was like, yeah, he's right. Because if you approach them on some like, I'm just thinking,
Yeah, bro. Even I won't even lie. If you're trying to talk to anyone and you do the thing where you look at them, look away, look at them, look at they, even if they didn't see, they already saw, and like you walk up to them, you're like, ha, they'll be like, can you go away?
and not even just that, the way you're gonna talk. When you walk up to somebody on like that, like you're scared, you're not sure what's gonna happen, you're gonna sound uncertain in your words. You're like, hey, I kind of saw you from across. Like you're gonna use a lot of words like that because you're uncertain about what you're doing. You're gonna sound like a bitch. Like it's gonna, I kind of saw you, and I was kind of wondering if you wanted to, maybe you're gonna say a lot of those filler words. But if you do it on some like, you know what? This could not work, but I'm gonna trust myself.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
when
do
you
it.
walk up and
It
be
is
like,
what
hey,
it is.
what's your name? How you doing? Let's get a drink, or let's like that. Like you're just gonna say it. It's
Yeah,
gonna
you're gonna
fall
say it.
out.
You're gonna be confident. You're gonna look confident, and it's gonna work out better for you that way.
Yep.
So like that's yeah. It's just like you have to just have faith in yourself without worrying about all the
And
you
this isn't
know
even like on some picking up girls. This is like talking to
generally
anyone. Like
generally speaking,
talking to
just
your
have faith in
boss,
yourself.
asking for a raise. You can't go, hey boss, I've been looking at the numbers and I think if it's okay with you, like I should get a no, it's not okay with me. Go back home. Go back. Go
Okay,
back.
cool. And to be honest, I don't think logic is necessarily a way. You don't have to live your life in a completely logical fashion. It's like that's not a way to live.
It's
I
not
feel like
healthy.
you should try to mostly be logical about things, but like you're allowed to not be logical. You're a human. It's okay. You can watch a show just to watch a show. You can play a game just because you like playing the game. I mean,
Yes.
even that can be logical in a way. It's something you enjoy and you like that feeling that you gain from doing this thing, so you chase
See,
that
then
feeling.
you're gonna start breaking it down, and you're going to, well, it's not logical because the game is bad, but it is logical because I enjoy it. And then now you're splitting hairs. Now you're splitting
Exactly.
hairs.
Yeah, sometimes you can just do things just because you like doing it. You I like really goofy action movies. Like I like action movies that are over the top and like just has like really over the top lines and that kind of stuff and very cheesy. I enjoy them. I won't think it's the best movie in the world, but I just enjoy it. I'm like, this is a fun movie. I like this. You can tell the person who made this movie really enjoyed what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's one reason why I hate critics so
Like
much
Puss in
because they
Boots.
want to break shit. Huh? What were you gonna say?
So like Puss in Boots.
Oh, yeah, they want to break shit down and break down. Like I have no problem breaking things down. I do that very often. But like sometimes if I'm looking at something and I can see the person clearly really enjoyed the work, because you can feel that shit when you're watching something. You can feel the person put their love and their blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, and you
Like
can
the new
just see it.
Pinocchio movie.
Yeah, you can see it and you feel it, and you're just like, yeah, maybe there are some moments I could have worked better, but I just really like the feeling that I'm getting from this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like if you're
And
doing a review, a review is different than an analysis, and I feel
yeah,
like a lot of people don't understand that, right? Like if you're just like say video game reviews, it's like, all right, man, it does these things well, it does these things bad. I give it a 7 out of 10. You can play it or not. But then if you want to go into an analysis, you're like, all right, well, if I really want to like go into it, why is the princess in another castle all the time, bro? Like, doesn't even make any sense. Like after the first time, wouldn't he have just gone to the last castle? Like I'm sure this man could think about that, but no. Like I got to go through all 8. That doesn't make any sense. And that's
Like, I
just
mean, I
different
do.
from a review.
Yeah, I do a kind of blend of both, where it's like I will look at a film and I'll break it down and I'll notice things that don't make any sense. But like I can understand that like story structure is not supposed to be like real life. So like I will hate when critics will do that stupid shit. They'll look at something and be like, yeah, because he couldn't just use his cell phone or anything. Like it's not the real fucking world, you dumbass. It's
Well,
like it's a fucking
see,
movie.
I don't like it when it is the real world and they have shown to be using those types of devices, and then they
Yeah,
do that. That's
sure,
different.
sure.
But if they just don't have them bitches, that's completely different.
No, even
Well,
oddly,
no,
there
if
was
it's not even like if they don't have it, if it's just like it's not a device that has been prevalent in the story, then I'm okay with him not pulling it out of nowhere, because then it would feel like a MacGuffin if he just pulls it out of nowhere, where it has not been
yeah.
important into the story. I'm
Exactly.
going into analysis for no reason.
Yeah, what I'm saying when I go into story structure, I'll look at the kind of story that this person is trying to tell,
Mm-hmm.
realize the way these stories typically pan out, the cliches, because I don't think cliches are a bad thing. I think they're cliches for a reason. The cliches that occur within them, right? And I'll just accept them. I'm like, okay, this is part of the story. Or I'll see what the person was trying to do and accept it, right? But other people will start trying to, like you said, try to break down this dumbass analysis and trying to apply what they think
It's
is logic.
hold on. It's funny how you could do that with a story, but you can't do that with someone's argument. You could see what they were going for, but you still gotta still have to
Well, if
dissect
we're
it.
arguing, right, like and like we are talking about something, I can't go on what you were going for because that's not what we're talking about. It's not about the feeling that you're going for. It's about the thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I
And,
don't
and
know.
the
I
thing
don't
is,
know. I feel like if you could do it for a movie, you could do it for argument, man.
no, because a work of fiction is different from a
Yeah.
fucking.
Because like the work of fiction is like they're telling a story. They're not arguing with me. You know, like that. Like the thing is literally just a different. It's a different conversation we're having. If I am telling you something
Is it?
versus we're talking about something, you know, it's just different. Like right
And even
now, I know what you're trying to do, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
yeah, and then if the movie is trying to make a point, even if it's a good movie but it didn't make the point. Actually, no. If it's trying to make a point and it doesn't make the point, it usually will ruin the movie, right? So like I will do that. Like if I'm looking at a movie and it was trying to make a point, but the arguments within made no sense. It's like a good example is Civil War, right? Everyone loves that fucking movie.
I think this is garbage.
Yes, and it was trying to make this larger point about the idea of, I guess, of these heroes' actions being limited by like a tyrannical system, right? But they made the point very badly. So it's like it was a terrible movie, and I could not accept it because like the point was dumb. Like it made no sense. Like there was like, what were you saying?
So you disagree with the point, or not that you disagree with the point. You don't agree with how they got to the point in the movie, but
Yeah, I
uh,
don't. Well, I feel like the point has more nuance than they were portraying, and also I don't agree with the point specifically in their universe. Like one specifically in their universe, it made no sense because it's like they're like, oh, because literally when Captain America says the only hands we can trust are our own, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally just a movie ago, one of you guys created a killer android that tried to destroy the world.
wait. So do you disagree with the point it's trying to make, or you disagree with how they got to it?
Well,
That's what I'm trying to
he's
figure out.
disagreeing. I think he's disagreeing with what the point was trying to make. Because like
Yes,
they, that movie's dumb. The movie's dumb.
yes, it's dumb,
And
and
if you really want to think about it, the way they got to the point is also dumb. But I'm not
exactly.
gonna sit here and break down.
We're not gonna get into it. And
Yeah,
like,
we can.
Yeah.
You can have a whole review of that movie if you really want,
So
bro.
there aren't examples where you can't ignore that element to it, but still
no,
enjoy the movie for what it was. I think
Well,
it's a good movie.
if you were
no.
talking like if the whole point of the movie was to make the point, then how can it be a good movie if it didn't make the point? And if it's like very obvious that this is the point of the movie, like imagine you're watching Taken and you're like the whole point of the movie is that don't fuck with this guy, like don't take shit from him, and the person who took something from him gets away, like you'd be like, what the fuck did I just sit through this whole movie for, right?
or let's say like the whole point is like it's like a revenge thing, but then you realize, wait a minute, these people didn't do anything to him. He's just murdering people for no reason. It's gonna be hard for you.
They try to do that with shows all the time, where you watch a show that's like 4 to 5 seasons long, and then they're like, I guess people made this argument about Lost, where they were trying to get to a point, and then when they got to the end, it didn't make any sense, and that's what you were watching.
I
While
think
you were
that's
watching, you can't disregard everything that happened because of the finish line.
does it not lower the quality of the thing? Like, doesn't it lower your enjoyment?
It lowers it, but if you also enjoyed, enjoyed it for some of the other stuff,
specifically
then
with
you enjoy it
Lost,
for some of the other stuff.
specifically with Lost had no ultimate point, so I don't know why people try to say that it didn't. And it had points in specific seasons, yeah, and certain arcs. And also the other thing with Lost is one of the benefits that made me enjoy it more than other people is I watched it in like a sitting, so it's like it's different. I didn't have the
Yeah.
the frustrations weren't as present because I got to see each episode like right after the other. Because it's going to be pretty frustrating if you waited all week and then the conclusion to a storyline was really weak sauce. You're gonna get mad. You're like, "Are you fucking serious, bro?" But that even happened to me because I remember when they were building up to Jack and John Locke's fight, which actually works. This actually fits into our topic because the thing with Jack and John, why they were so opposed, they were enemies. They weren't really enemies, but they were philosophically opposed from the beginning of the series because Jack was a man of science. He was a doctor, right? And John was a man of faith. He believed very much in faith. He believed in the island. Like he believed in the qualities of the island. I mean, he turned out to be right. Well, it's funny because he turned out to be right, but maybe he also wasn't right because there was like a science fiction element. Um, he believed in the island, and he placed his faith in the island. And Jack and him would bump heads and disagree with that. So that's why when they were finally reaching that point where they were literally going to come to blows, I was looking forward to that because I was like, wow, it's now reached the end. Like it's come full circle. And then John beats his ass in 2 seconds. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like he whooped his ass like that. Like he was like bam, 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 and he just walked away. I was like, yo.
But yeah, like the ending could have been ass or anticlimactic, but you could have enjoyed, some of the great dialogue I had throughout. That could be something that was outstanding to you.
I'll say that. Well, with Civil War, there are moments in that movie that I enjoy, but also Civil War is just not that good of a movie because one of the things about Civil War that I think is very dumb is the muted tone of it makes it look very bad. Like it's just the weird muted like film that they have over it makes all the scenes look bad. Tony's armor doesn't make sense in the movie. Like the things that happen to it just are weird. Like just power inconsistencies. There's that stuff. I don't think the dialogue in that movie is very good either. Like there's no dialogue in that movie that made me sit there and go, wow, So like the only hands we can trust our own is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like I remember thinking that was a very dumb line.
Also,
so it wasn't, yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, because I'm thinking is like to say that there are no points of a thing. Because like I'm trying to like address what EJ's talking about specifically, right? So even if this thing has decent qualities, right? If overall it does not deliver, it's just not that good, right?
No, but that's where me and you. Well, I'm not even saying I disagree with you. I think it's on a person by person basis. If that holds a lot of significance in your viewing experience, then that's how you're gonna judge it.
Like if you're eating some fried chicken and the skin is crispy but the chicken is bland, is it good fried chicken? Like
nah.
Yeah, right. Like it had a great quality, but overall it just wasn't that good.
Yeah, it didn't deliver on the. It didn't deliver.
I was like,
but it's how much significance you put on that particular thing.
No.
Right? So like,
let me say something real quick. Because generally speaking, the chicken is a great analogy here. Because specifically in terms of chicken, most people when they're eating a piece of chicken intend for the actual like meat of the chicken to taste good. This is what they're looking forward for. Like the skin is just like an extra benefit. There are some people who also like the skin, but what they want is the meat to taste good, right? So if only the skin is good, but the meat itself is bad, then the thing didn't deliver on the ultimate thing it's supposed to deliver on.
But you decide what it has to deliver on when you
Sure,
watch it. You
sure.
decide
But
that
I'm
has
Bro,
to
saying,
be
bro,
there.
bro,
generally speaking,
but bro,
generally
we're
speaking,
talking about fried chicken. If you're going for fried chicken, like
We're talking
99,
about a
nah, bro,
movie,
no,
which
chill,
is
chill, chill. No,
way
99,
more diverse than
nah,
chicken.
nah, because 99.9% of the people who go for the fried chicken want the chicken to taste good, right? Like even if it is fried chicken, like if you really just want chicken skins, like
you can go get
are you
chicken
getting
skins.
fried chicken if you really just want chicken
Hey,
skins?
you seen that episode of South Park when they bought KFC and
No,
Cartman just ate all the skin
no, I did not.
and
But
left the chicken?
and to bring it back to the movie, it's like if you're going for your movie and like say you watch the trailer and you're like you understand that the trailer like the movie's gonna say all like it's making this point from the trailer, then you go and you're like, well, it looked good, I guess. Like it didn't deliver. It did not. It didn't deliver on the thing that it was supposed to deliver on. Like I did not get what I went to go and get. Like,
Yeah.
did I find some silver lining? Sure, but like
For
overall,
you, it didn't deliver. For you,
no. We're not doing this person by person thing. I'm saying if the movie itself did not make the point that it wants to make, I'm saying objectively the movie didn't make the point that the
but
point.
what makes it a trailer makes that the point? A trailer
No, I'm
makes
saying the
that.
movie was making a point. Like
Ignore the trailer portion.
Like,
because
like,
the movie
like the
was generally
movie is
trying
making a point. You knew the point of the movie, and the
But
movie
how
did
though?
not.
How are you getting that
Nigga, you
impression? That's
watched
what
the
I'm asking.
movie. You watched the movie. If you were
But
watching the
but
movie and it did not make the point that the movie is trying to make, then it did not deliver. This isn't an objective. This isn't a subjective shit. This is
I mean,
objectively like the movie did not
it
deliver.
can't be subjective though. It can't. That's why I disagree. It can't be
How is
subjective
it subjective if the movie was
because all
making
right,
a point and did not make
if
a
we're talking
point?
about if we're talking about a movie like Taken, that's pretty straightforward. Like it's not one of those movies where it takes multiple viewings to get a different feeling from it. Like you know what they're going for. Talking about an example like that, sure. I'm saying that there's movies where it's more complex than that. They're not making it straightforward for you
Bro,
to just
even
sit
if
there and
it's
be like,
not straight,
okay,
like the straightforwardness of it doesn't have to do with
the
anything.
way you make an argument in a movie is you have certain things happen within the movie to make components of your argument, right? And what Ray is trying to say is if the things in your movie do a bad job of making whatever argument you're trying to make, then you failed. You failed in presenting that
Correct.
argument.
Like I don't care about the complexity of the movie. That is irrelevant. That is
I think
actually
that's very
irrelevant.
relevant.
No,
That got to be very relevant.
bro. This is why it's irrelevant. Because whether the movie is complex or very simple, if it has a point, it can make the point.
Yes.
Complex or not.
But why are you limiting it to one point though? Like when has a movie just made one
No.
single
Why are
point?
you trying to avoid the point? If I'm saying the movie has a point to it, why are you trying to imagine this a world where there is no point to this movie?
Just to say for
I
basically
don't know.
blanket statement here, point just means it's trying to make an argument. An argument can have many points to it. He's saying if it's trying to make an argument, that's what he's trying to say. Yeah, not like one point. It's just they're trying to make an argument.
I thought you were saying if it doesn't satisfy this one point or this one argument, then it failed.
No, like if the movie is trying to make an argument and it does
any
not
argument. Okay.
Any argument. That's why the complexity doesn't matter. Like the movie tried to say something.
All right.
And it failed in saying that thing.
And it failed in saying the thing. It did not do its job. Like that's it.
Yeah.
There's no that's it. It just didn't do the job.
And like that's why I have very hard time enjoying many movies because I will see that they're trying to say something and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like that was why it was very hard for me to enjoy Infinity War. Like I just couldn't see it the way, and I've tried to see it the way other people were, and I did not.
Then why were you advocating for people earlier to be more forgiving towards movies? Then, if you do the same thing, if you're overly critical yourself,
because I'm not overly critical. I just feel like if you're trying to make a point in a movie and you don't make it, then you fail. But like other people will criticize the movie because like the action sequences were too over the top, like stupid shit like that. I think is dumb. I think you can criticize the movie for
but to them, like I said, they might play they might place a high significance on that because it factors into them being able to deliver on that point. They see that as a large portion of it, even though you might see it as irrelevant.
See, but that's different. It's like if your movie is trying to make a point about the nature of objective reality, and like your movie is very weird and over the top and unrealistic, then it didn't really make a point about objective reality, because it's like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like your the little gimmicks and elements of your movie oppose your general point. If that is part of the point, like you're showing like the contrast between objective reality and this like
Yeah.
hyper violent world, like you're trying to make a general point, right? Then that's a little different. Um, but yeah, I feel like people will do this thing where they'll project their own real world sensibilities onto a movie, and like they'll use that to judge it, and they'll call things plot holes that weren't plot holes, because they want things to happen in this like very straightforward kind of way. And I'm always trying to explain, I'm like, that's not how movies work.
I feel like there's just so many ways to pick apart a movie. Like you'll have those selection of people. Like let's say we're talking about a sci-fi movie, right? And let's say the movie did its job in making the point that it makes in the story, right? It satisfies that. It doesn't satisfy uh the part where it's supposed to come off as sci-fi. Like let's say people didn't get that impression at all. Like it went against it being sci-fi, even though it's classified as a sci-fi movie. People just didn't feel like people that really know about sci-fi feel it didn't do that. So as a result, they feel like it failed, right? Because you're marketing yourself as a sci-fi movie, but it didn't do that. Even though let's say the story did its job. Then you have those other people where let's say they disagree with that. They feel like it did satisfy in that department, but it didn't satisfy in the story aspect. So I feel like there's just different ways that people find to be critical of something. It is what it is. Some people
Yeah.
gloss over some things, and there's going to be some people that's overly critical of it. That's
Mhm.
just what it is.
I mean, I agree with you, but it's like, generally speaking, though, the main point here is just that like you don't have to apply a logical film or filter to everything. Like some things you can just enjoy for the sake of enjoying them. And I mean, yeah, sure, there's an irony in me saying that, because I do.
Yeah, I feel like you're guilty of that, though. I feel like you're guilty of that.
I don't think so. I think you just have a misunderstanding. 'Cause I feel like Ray can tell you. Ray knows me a little better, and he can tell you I don't apply a logical filter to everything. Like there are moments where I will do that.
Because
But
on
Ray can
the
probably,
past stream, that's exactly what I was saying, but I was applying it to the life aspect. I'm like, I'm not sitting here trying to examine everything. I just want to enjoy my life. But you say that for a movie's sake. You say that, well, yeah, I just want to enjoy this movie. I don't want to sit here and examine everything. But then you'll
well, yeah, when you
also,
watch the movie,
in the same breath, you'll pick apart a Marvel movie that repeats the same shit over and over, and you still watch the movie. So
oh, I know.
I don't know.
I watch Marvel movies. What are you talking about?
Bro,
I haven't
how
watched
many Marvel movies have you?
years.
How many different Marvel movies have you sat here and discussed? Talked about the Thor movies. We talked about the Avenger movies. We talked about the Spider-Man movies. We talked about Doctor Strange. Like, there's so many different movies we talked about.
Yeah, most of those movies came out with one when I was younger, so of course I watched them.
A lot of those movies are not even longer than 10 years ago.
Fucking serious, bro? Marvel movies came.
When did
The first Avengers came out
when
in
did-
2012.
when did Civil War come out? When did Civil War come out?
20.
Fact check that.
I just graduated. Like, I graduated like
So I'm saying not even 10 years ago.
But like that was like one of the last Marvel movies I sat down and watched. I was like,
When Love and Thunder, when that came out, Ragnarok, when that came out.
totally Love and Thunder. Ragnarok I saw with a friend, I believe.
So you saw it with me. Civil War came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. These are all recent.
Thor Ragnarok came out in 2017.
Ray can tell you I criticized these movies even when I was a teenager.
He was shitting on these movies the entire time.
But you're still watching them. You're still watching them, taking apart. He's still watching.
We watch them as groups usually.
What was that?
We watch them as groups usually.
Man, go watch a comedy, man. Go watch a comedy.
Ragnarok is a comedy.
I do watch.
All of them are comedies, actually.
They weren't the only movies I watched.
Yeah.
But you know, they were some of the reason I talk about those movies because they're very popular. And I point out that they're so popular, but I don't understand why they're so popular because they're not that good.
They don't understand why you keep giving them your money, but they're getting it.
No, they know exactly why you're giving them your money. They know why. That's why you're getting their money.
I don't
know why you keep giving them your money, but you keep doing it.
I don't buy Marvel products or DC products. I stopped doing that shit a lot.
You didn't pay to go see Black Adam?
Did I? No, I watched that shit on the internet.
Oh, you saw that? You could. All right. You got that.
Yeah, I saw it on the internet. I knew that shit was gonna be terrible. I saw the trailers. But even then, I was pleasantly surprised. It was a movie where I was like, you know what? There are elements in this movie that are bad, but I feel like
good garbage, man. That shit was good garbage.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I think it was good garbage. I was like, it's like this is a silly little summer blockbuster. I was like, it effectively does what it was supposed to do. It's like Black Adam is supposed to fly through and smash things and kill people. He did that.
I feel like I'm the type of person that enjoys things for the hell of it. Like I'll watch a horror movie or I'll watch, and in my mind, if I'm putting my critiquer hat on, I thought the shit was bad, but I'll still sit there and watch it. I'll be like, I'm gonna give it its credit
Yeah,
before I shit all
that's what I'm
over
trying
it.
to
Like
say.
when we did the
Same thing. Same. I do
nah,
that.
I feel like you don't fit in that. You don't fit in that. Nah,
I did that with
I
Black
feel like
Adam.
you can't. I feel like, bro, you was
I
literally
literally
watching
did that with
Black
Black
Adam.
Adam.
Oh, wait, hold on. So you were not watching Black Adam and sitting on Discord typing as goofy things was going on in the movie, bro. You were sitting there, instead of just waiting for the movie to damn fit, you couldn't even wait to get out 1 ounce of criticism, bro.
Yeah, because it was funny.
How was that enjoying the movie? How was that enjoying the movie?
I was still enjoying it. I just like because even when
Come
like
on.
it's funny because the
So
things
you're
that were
saying
happening,
that
I
people
was playing.
can't enjoy things in different ways, EJ?
Yeah, like I was just like
That's enjoyable?
For
yeah,
some
I was
people,
like, I thought
right?
it was
There's different types of
funny.
people, right?
There are literally people who
There
watch
are.
bad movies for fun. They watch bad movies for fun and enjoy the process. They're like, this movie is fucking terrible, and they laugh about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't completely criticizing. I was just pointing out the things that were happening that were weird. I was like, oh, this is weird. This is weird. And I was like, thought these things, and that's just like something I do. There's a process where you can I think it's called what's it called? Sophistic. Is that what it's called? The sophistic principle, whatever. Basically, you analyze something in real time. Basically, you read something in a short burst, like with a book, and then you make a note on the side, processing what you just read. Then you do it again for another. Like you break it down. I do
Usually
that.
people are getting paid to do that though.
No, I was doing it in school. That's why I used to have to do it.
Oh.
College and then also
Oh
history.
yeah, if you're doing it for school, yeah, it makes sense.
But I do it in real life too. When I'm reading something, I will process what I just read. Not if it's like a fiction book. Usually I'll just read through it. If it's a book, and just keep reading. No, actually, sometimes like there are parts in Dune where they would say something, and I thought it was very meaningful, and I'd sit there and think about it, and then go get back to reading.
I mean, it's fine if that's what you like really enjoy to do. Just sit there and criticize the fuck out of a movie. That's fun for you, but you can't sit there and do that and then say the same point earlier where like, yeah, I just enjoy things without having to find the logic or the
No,
meaning. Or you can't say that. You can't say that.
You're missing the point because I said you can criticize something or look at something and note things about it without completely shitting on the entire product, which is really what you just said. We're saying the same thing. I will look at something and I will think about things that were weird or silly, but then I'll realize, holy, the film meant to do this one thing and meant to be this kind of film. And I'll be like, this is the kind of thing these films do. And I'll just accept it, right? It's different now if the movie fails in the level of like, even in the thing it was trying to do, it failed, right? Or it was trying to
Yeah.
make this larger statement and it messed up there, right? Black Adam was a very straightforward film trying to do a very straightforward thing. So I was like, okay, it accomplished the thing it was meant to do. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was an amazing film, but I think it was like the worst thing ever either. You know, like I was like, it had some cool fight scenes, some interesting CGI, that kind of stuff. But like with something like Civil War or Infinity War, like Infinity War, like the things that made that movie weird to me was it's like the characters all become retarded so that Thanos can win. Like they all become idiots and they all become weak so that Thanos can beat their ass. It's like these things that just didn't make any sense. I was like, this is bad writing.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I go through this period of like where I try to be more forgiving towards movies and I lower my standard and I just try to take in the experience with an open mind. But then like I have those tendencies where some stupid shit comes up and then I just start to cringe and I have to fight that, like fight me wanting to say something. I'm like,
Why?
you know what, let me just
I don't understand. Why do you fight it? That's what I don't get. Well, why do you?
because I fight it because I don't want it to like people could see one thing, and I was telling this to Ray earlier, like when we was talking about the ending, and they'll blow it up as to be like I try to be the most objective that I can. Like I'll probably make a note of it by the time I get through to the
You're not
movie,
being objective,
but I
though.
don't.
You're being the exact opposite of objective. You're trying to go for a certain kind of approach to the film. So you're not being objective.
I mean, trying to be objective doesn't mean I am objective. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm trying to. Trying to. That's a hard pursuit to get to.
Yeah.
Being completely objective about anything. That's hard. We
I
all
know.
come into things with
I mean,
some kind of bias to begin with.
I agree with you though. It's like I do feel what you said. They'll take one thing from something and act like that ruins the entire thing. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, I do feel like what Ray was saying, where it's like an ending. If you mess up an ending, that's a hell of a thing to mess up. Like an ending is a hell of a thing to mess up because an ending is meant to usually, not in all movies or in all books, an ending is meant to wrap up the ideas you were presenting throughout your movie, right? So if you fuck up in doing that, you've kind of messed up, like maybe the ideas you presented were still interesting, but the ending ruins the experience. Because like watching a movie is an experience, correct? Like you can't just be like, I like you don't look at a movie as like a bunch of still frames and you enjoy each frame.
I'm not the type of person that places so much of an emphasis on the ending. It's kind of like that saying about even if it's a really bad ending, if I enjoyed the journey, like they say that it's about the journey, not the destination. And yeah, it's supposed to wrap up those ideas, but I feel like they're classically known.
A bad journey though. Like you can see that the journey is going awry. That's usually what's going on though.
I mean,
things don't just like hit you with the end. Like it's like you can't just leave it as like a movie is a beginning, middle, and an ending.
It's funny. It's funny because when I watched Dexter, the last season is terrible, and the first iteration of Dexter, not the new spinoff.
Comparing a TV show to movies is a little weird.
No, I know, but just to go off Ray's point, like I agree with that journey part because like you could see it, like the writing is on the wall, and even like the writers will be forcing things and trying to speed run to the end, and you could tell they ran out of ideas. Even you see it with some anime, like when people were coming at the last arc for Yu Yu Hakusho, and I enjoyed that, but that has mixed reviews because people say that they forced a lot of like what was going on, and he was trying to end it, but like in Dexter that happened. Like the last season I hated, and the ending was like hated by a lot of people. But it's funny because I actually really enjoyed that ending. I thought it was like the best way they could end that show. It was one of the best endings to me, and I'm in the minority. But I hated the journey to get there. That shit was terrible. So I'm thinking the ending is gonna be bad. But of course I'm in the minority where, most people thought it was bad. So you could see the fall off happening before you even get there. It is what it is.
Yeah. It depends because it's like it could be a thing where they rush to end something. So it could be the journey to get there was really good, but then they rush and they mess up the ending, right? Or it could just be they fuck up, right? And then it could be like what Ray was saying, where it's like the climax right before the ending is when things start to unravel. So like, let's say you're watching a TV show and you're reaching that like finale, that final arc, like the final 3 episodes or final 4. Yeah. And it's just really goofy, like those final 4 episodes.
Even in a movie, say like you were talking about in Lost, there was like a clear buildup of a thing. Say in a movie, there's a clear buildup. The protag and antag are gonna like do something. Like there's gonna be a big payoff, and then the movie ends and that doesn't happen. You're just gonna feel like you're gonna feel blue balls. You're gonna be like, wait, what just happened? Like you're gonna be like, wait, the movie's over. You're not even gonna know that the movie ended. And that's gonna mess up the journey for you.
The only way endings, for me personally, the only way endings really mess up the journey for me is if it discounts everything that was understood previously. Yeah, right? Like if it's like a huge retcon, it was like, hold on, this is not what was discussed throughout the whole entirety of it. Now you're like this ultimate plot twist, and now you're discounting everything that was stated before. That's fucking whack.
Think about the ending of Naruto, like. Naruto and Sasuke were supposed to fight. So that had to happen. But if you watch Naruto, you're like especially like that last war arc, you're just like, why would they even be fighting? They start working together. Yeah. Sasuke learns all the secrets, and he's like, oh, Itachi did all these things for XYZ reason. He has literally zero reason to fight Naruto at the end of the movie, at the end of the show. But why does he do it? Because we expected it. That's it.
See, that's the thing.
That was pretty bad.
When your ending now fails to follow the consistent theme that you were going for and just does something random, That's weird. That can almost ruin. Like you can
No,
still.
Naruto's ending was so bad it ruined its sequel series. That's how bad it ended.
Yeah, yeah. But what EJ was talking about is I remember a good example of that in Arrow, right? So Arrow was one of the shows I used to watch. And I watched Arrow for maybe I got to part of season 4 before I was like, this show is goofy, and I stopped watching it because that fourth season was really stupid. He was suddenly fighting a nigga who knew magic, and I was like, what's going on here? It's like, what are we doing? So,
Oh my god.
season 3 is
We gotta
like
start
one of
wrapping
the
it up, guys.
Yeah, it's not hurting.
No, shut the fuck up. No, no, but
He yawning this shit too.
season 3 was where like the show was like one of the most reviled seasons. I think season 4 was also reviled, but season 3 did this thing where Oliver gets brainwashed, but he was kind of pretending, right? But like it was kind of stupid and goofy. There were parts of season 3 that worked, parts of it that didn't. So this is me doing exactly what you did, EJ, where parts of it were okay, parts of it were dumb. But then when you get to the ending kind of is what in my opinion kind of saved the season. Because you get to the ending and it turns out he was pretending. And like he does this thing where, Ra's al Ghul is like, oh, he gave him this like new name. I forgot what it was. And he's like, well, let's say the name was Al Shaira or whatever, right? He's like, Al Shaira, do your thing or whatever, like kill that man. And then Oliver looks at him and goes, my name is Oliver Queen. Like he just yells that at him, like because you go basic thinking that he was under his control, like he was now his thrall, but he was pretending. And then in that same season, I think in subsequent seasons, another good thing that made it work is that he's not forgiven for that. Like the characters understood that he was doing this for the greater good, but he still did a lot of shitty things to people while he was doing that. So like it took a long while for Diggle to like forgive him. A lot of people were like angry about this. And they're like, yo, why is Diggle still holding that against him? It's like the man, like, I think at one point he threatens to kill his kid or something. Like, of course Diggle's still gonna be mad. It's like you should have told me. That's what Diggle's like. Diggle's like, we were friends. You're supposed to trust me. And it's like this thing where they both have good points. So it kind of saved the whole season for me. The fact that there was a good ending and good conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference between getting an ending that you didn't want and getting an ending that you shouldn't have gotten, right? Because it doesn't necessarily make it bad because that's not what you wanted or the way you wanted it to happen. A lot of people bring their bias into it because they were expecting something different. But just because but if it still is logically sound, but it just didn't, it wasn't satisfactory to what you wanted, doesn't make it bad. I hate when people do that. And one last thing about this topic, have you guys ever heard of a show called Dallas? I think it came out like the 80s or 90s.
Oh, my mom
used to
sitcom.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a dream.
Yeah. See that when I saw that on a Watch Mojo video, because they had like the top 10 worst endings. I think that was like number 1 or number 2. When they said that happened, I was like, no way. That shit would piss me the fuck off, bro. Yeah, what happened in that is basically what I was saying earlier about you just rolled off everything that happened in the fucking show in one moment.
That happened in Roseanne too, I think, the original. I think the original Roseanne, it was revealed she was dreaming.
Shorty dead woke up next to her husband, and she said, He's like, what happened? She said, I just had a nightmare. I don't know if she said a nightmare. She said, I just had a dream. We had there was a family and kids, and we lived in this big house, and everything happened, and none of it was real. And that show went on for like 8-9 seasons.
Who came up with the Roseanne ending? Like, how did that even happen? Like, how did someone in a writer's room like, what would be heat?
If the whole thing is
nothing is topping that as a worse ending, bro. Holy shit!
That's funny. That's some funny stuff. Yeah,
that will make me fucking punch a hole in the wall, bro.
Yeah, I remember.
You tell me I watched this shit for 8-9 seasons, bro.
I remember the thing that would make my mom would talk about a lot in Dallas. The character JR was her, because I remember I used to be a big fan of David Xanatos. I used to love that guy. David Xanatos and Lex Luthor, the two evil schemers. And her thing, she used to talk a lot about this guy JR from Dallas, who she liked, because JR did this thing where he faked his death. And he had people. He did that shit on purpose, I think. Where he had people. He framed someone for killing him, and he was alive the whole time. And I think when he revealed himself, he's like laughing, like he thought that shit was funny, like the "Who Shot Jr." thing. My mom would always tell me about that, and she found it funny too.
I'm not gonna lie. If I watched Dallas, I would initially be tight at the ending, but I probably after a certain point, I probably just ignore it. I'm like, nah, that
That'd
didn't
be
happen.
funny.
That didn't happen. Like I enjoyed the
Oh,
family dynamic, them in the house.
yeah, that's
Like
what happened.
I'll value those moments in the show. Like I'll value that journey. Like fuck the end. The ending
Yeah,
didn't happen.
that's what
That
I
was a
do.
misstep.
That's what happened with Gargoyles. The second season is considered not second season. The third season is considered non-canonical because
Yeah.
it's bad. And even the writer of the show did the same thing. He wrote a comic that continues off where the second season began, so the third season does not exist. Like it's not a canonical thing. Yeah, people do that with headcanon a lot. They just dismiss whatever thing was
Yeah.
terrible. I'm like, that didn't happen. We're just gonna pretend.
Yeah, like one moment can dismiss 300 plus hours or more of straight good television. Like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
exactly.
Yeah, like
Well, that's the thing with Lost. One of the reasons Lost people got mad with Lost is because it didn't answer their questions.
mm,
And I get that, but then I feel like part of it was part of the journey of Lost is that there's not an answer. I think it was part of the journey that not everything has an answer. That sometimes you just have to accept things based on faith, or just accept things as they are. So I feel like it was fitting to the tone of the show for it to end that way. But before we leave though, what was that hypothetical you thought of?
okay, yeah. So it was about the cancer thing. So um let's say you had cancer, right? And like while you're in the hospital, um you end up befriending someone else that has cancer. And you guys, throughout your time there, have developed a good friendship. You got to know more of them. They got to know more of you. And one day, uh, the guy that you befriended comes in and tells you, like, "Hey, man, I got great news. You wouldn't believe it." And you're like, "What happened?" Uh, Doctors told me that I recovered and I was able to beat my cancer. Like I don't have it anymore. So then that same day he leaves, that he leaves the hospital, and then you end up going to see the doctor again, and he tells you the opposite. You have a week to live. Um, no. Let's say it happened before. Let's say it happened before I fucked up the timeline. Let's say before the guy, your friend tells you the good news, you just got the bad news, and that's still like, you're still processing that. Can you be genuinely happy for your man's?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's easy to do that.
You?
It's very easy to say because I'm not dying, but like I believe that I would generally be happy. I'd still be sad as fuck for me, but like,
Did you tell him?
what's my death got to do with him? Like well, if I was gonna die before he told me, I probably would have already told him, right?
No, let's say you didn't tell him yet. He doesn't know.
Why would I have? If I didn't tell him before, why would I tell him now?
I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that to myself. I ain't gonna lie.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I didn't tell,
you don't have to tell him. It's just that he's at his question is how would you feel?
look, I'd be happy for my man. Is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know if I could be happy, bro. I ain't gonna. I ain't trying to be a hating ass nigga, but this is like, damn, I like it's not even towards him. It's just like, why God? Why me?
That's what I'm trying
Why?
to say. You might feel that, like that. Why?
See,
me?
but that wasn't the question.
Nah, I guess you could be genuinely happy for him. Yeah.
Like you can feel multiple feelings at the same time, right?
My question
like,
was
I'd
like,
be
could
happy
you be
for my homie, and then like I said, I would be still sad for me.
Man, I feel like it'll be hard to like even show him I'm happy in that moment. Like to really be ecstatic. Like I feel like I would have to put on some kind of act.
That might take you out your funk even if you've been sitting there sad, thinking everything all wrong, and then
you just got the worst news in your life.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you got this bad news, and you're sitting there, and then
it could take you out of it, or it can make it worse.
It
like
depends on who you are as a person. This really depends on who you are as a person. Like if I got some good news about my homie getting to live, I'm not. I don't think I'm the type of person to be like, should have been me. I can't do that. That's not me. That's not who I am as a person. It's not me.
It should have been me, but I'm not saying it. You know, my news should have went to him. I'm not saying
I'm just saying, like I answered your question. And I genuinely feel that I would be happy for him.
I'm gonna add on 2 things. I'd probably be happy for him too. I'm gonna add on 2 things to this hypothetical that I think could make it interesting. Like, okay, you haven't told him that you're gonna die. He tells you he's gonna live. Do you tell him you're gonna die now, or do you just
I do not tell him. He'll find out.
What about you, EJ? Do you tell him?
No, I ain't saying shit. He gonna find out and go to the funeral, and that's how he finds out. He gonna find out from somebody I know.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't tell him either.
Because I don't want to poison the happiness. Like I wouldn't
I wouldn't have the heart to tell him. I'd be like, damn.
So if I didn't already tell him, I'm not telling him after he fucking clicking his heels and be like, I'm gonna live. Like I don't got cancer. I'm not doing that. Like, I feel like at that point you would literally only be doing it because you'd want him to feel sad. You'd be like, nah, you're not allowed to feel happy, bro. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Now, Ray, how you gonna feel if he's really sitting there dancing?
Bro, he just got told the greatest news of his life, bro. Let mans be happy.
No, what if he's dancing for like a full 15 minutes?
Let him be happy, bro. That got nothing to do with me.
He said.
It got nothing to do with me, bro. We gonna get some ice cream after. We gonna go chat up some nurses. We gonna party, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. If he kept going for like 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, now, bro, you bugging. Like, I'm dying, bro. Let me die in peace. Like, leave me alone.
Nothing to do with me, bro.
All right, another question.
Hey, man, click it. It's like, oh.
He said, whoa. He starts fucking breakdancing. Like, I'm going to live. I'm going. He starts doing the robot. It's like, I'm going to live. I'm like, get the fuck out of my room.
Like, motherfucker, okay.
But anyways, okay, all right. So he's dying. No, you're dying, and he's gonna live. But you somehow have the power that you could switch it. You could take his vitality and he dies. Would you do it?
Wait, what? What happened?
Okay, you're home. You find out like you have the cancer, you're dying, and he's living. Somehow you get your hand on some magical power where you can switch that. You can take his vitality and live, but he dies.
No, I'm not doing that.
That's easy to say in the moment, but
no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not that kind of. I'm not doing that, bro.
Yeah, because you gotta live with that decision too.
I would have murdered a man. Yeah. I would have murdered. That's how I would have thought about it. I would have.
Yeah, that's somebody. A good point. I wouldn't do that. Given the opportunity, I wouldn't switch. That's why when I said I had contempt, it wasn't towards him. It was just towards the situation. So like I don't
have to have contempt to do it.
No, you don't. But I'm just addressing.
No, Vanguard, you doing it?
Probably not.
Flyer. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next week.
Probably not, because like it just like you said, it would just feel weird it would just be a weird thing to do. I mean, it's different. The things that like, let's say you have children or something now, and then like the person who is living doesn't. No, I feel like it's different. No, because your death can have ramifications on the lives of your children and that kind of stuff. So like then when it becomes
at that point, if I already know I'm dying, there's already been contingencies and stuff in place.
Yeah.
Like I'm.
We know
like, I'm not.
It's more than that. It's not.
No. Because I'm not doing it, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not doing it. And there's no other reason besides the fact that I'm not killing another nigga. I don't care if I got the world on my back, bro. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to convince him to kill anybody. But what I'm saying is like, if it's like a thing where like your family now, like you have a family and this guy has no family, that kind of stuff. It's like,
yeah. Is it like for me that work? My like,
I don't know, man. Cause like,
just cause you can't value a life just cause someone has kids and the other one doesn't, though. You can't just do that. You can
value a life for whatever reasons you feel like it.
Yeah. Cause like it's like it goes back to the classic question where it's like, let's say you had to kill someone who was innocent to save a bunch of other people. What do? And it's like, you know, some people say, "Oh, I can't do it," but then you can argue that the person who doesn't do anything.
That's not exactly the same though in that situation. Like you said, if you got the contingencies in place.
It's similar.
It's similar.
But what I was gonna say though, this is The reason, Ray, maybe now you wouldn't do it, but a long time ago you probably would have done it. And
No, I would not. I would never have done it. No, I would have never done
I'm
it.
thinking right now.
No,
I'm
I
happy.
would
I'm
never
happy
have
you're-
done this, bro.
I'm happy you're being dismissive. Because remember that time we had to do that thing for the scholarship thing, and this nigga, I asked him, his mom was like, it was a fake thing. I think it was his aunt's email or something. Was supposed to write us both like a fake letter of recommendation, right? You know what this nigga did in the letter of recommendation that was meant for me? This motherfucker wrote that I shouldn't get the scholarship, and then I was like, "Wait, why did you do?" Yeah, you don't even know.
No, what are you talking about?
You did.
No, I'm deadass. What are you talking about?
Oh no, it was like the Horatio.
Yeah. I remember writing that. Why would I ever do that?
You literally told me you did this. You told me you did it. You admitted it to me.
Nah, why would I do that?
That's what I said.
Why would I do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You said, because when you explained it to me in the moment, you said, this is what your exact words. You're like, because then I thought about it. And I was like, if it's supposed to be me going against you, then I was like, why would I? It was like, if I write that you are just as qualified as I am, then like.
Why would I mention you in it at all, though?
That's what I said.
That doesn't make any sense.
I remember it became a heated discussion between us. And I was like, why the fuck would you write it for me to begin with? I was like, if you were going to do that, you should tell me.
Bro. Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. That was all the stuff you're saying now.
This man is Mandela affecting himself, bro.
No, this literally happened. I know because I was angry as fuck about it when it happened.
Your man's ain't your man's, bro.
That doesn't make any sense, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
This nigga is an op, bro. Look at him. He's wearing a red shirt. He's wearing a red shirt.
Everything you're saying is what was said in the moment. We're in the argument in the moment. I was like, why even? And then you were agreeing with me.
Don't even sound like me, bro.
That's what made it even more annoying because, like, I'm like, why the fuck would you even do that? And you're like, yeah, I know. And you're just like, yeah,
it's making even less sense now. Like, it's just,
that's what I'm saying. You did it, and then after
the math isn't adding up here.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But after you did it, you then were like, it was stupid. You in the moment you were saying that it was stupid after you did it. It was like a weird thing you did on a fucking whim for some reason. And it was very annoying. I remember I was very angry about it for a while, and then I moved on. I didn't really care.
Sense.
I'm telling you, I'm not making this shit up.
I don't even remember if I even like submitted that application for that thing.
Well, this is what you told me. I remember the next day you came and told me that, and it became an argument. And I was like, why the fuck would you even suggest to me to do this thing if you were going to do that? I remember we were very angry. I was very angry about it for a little bit. So that's why I'm saying that the whole you would never kill the guy is interesting. But murder is a whole nother thing. Murder is a whole nother thing. Yeah.
He been holding that out to his heart, huh? Because that didn't happen anyway.
Yeah. You guys got to address that off stream, bro. That sounds like some
demons.
bro.
For no reason. I made it up for no reason.
That makes the most sense. That's the most
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Your mans don't be your mans. More of the story.
Look,
your
man,
mans don't be your mans.
Final thoughts. Anyone wearing red is a liar.
And a V-neck at that too.
Yeah. Look at him. That's just hubris incarnate right there.
I just made up a story off the top of my head for no reason.
You be doing that shit. He don't he brag about how he be doing that?
You a good storyteller, bro. You got the Lion and the Man, Boogeyman, that man Yakub. Something Yakub.
Yo, bro, we've been here for almost 3 hours. God damn.
Yeah. This is gonna be a lot of editing.
Last thing, man, if I'm in that situation, like I said, I'm being hating ass nigga, bro. That shit go that J gonna run out, bro. That shit gonna be like a 2-minute. Oh, wow, that's
great. You gonna hit you with the old word? That's great. I gotta go though. I can't be here right now.
Like, why are you crying? These tears are joy for you, bro.
You look back and he's just like he's like, I'm gonna live, and he's like dancing.
In the David Richardson, bro.
And then bro, he got all types of movement I've never seen before.
Yeah, so like you imagine the whole time. Okay. You better. He rolls in his wheelchair. You never even see him get out of the wheelchair. Then he's like, this is something I gotta tell you. I'm gonna live. And then he jumps up out of the wheelchair and starts dancing. Like he's like popping and locking. Like, woo! And like you're sitting there in your wheelchair, you can't even get up, like you can't even move. Okay, in that moment, I'm not gonna lie. In the moment, I'm in the wheelchair too, and the whole time we were in wheelchairs together, and suddenly he's dancing in front of me. There'd be a little bit of anger. There'd be a
You had a wheelchair bond, bro. Now you just disrespected the bond.
I'm like, come on, man. Now you're just rubbing it in my face. I'm like, nah, now you're just rubbing it in my face. Like, get the fuck out of my room.
Yo, this is so dark, bro. None of this stuff happens to somebody, bro. I really do. I really don't.
Oh man,
This shit too dark, bro. This shit too dark.
Yeah. All right, before we leave, I want to say something funny that someone said to me once. When I was having that conversation with that girl about relationships, and I remember at one point she was saying to me, what did she say? Oh yeah, I was talking about like I was saying about how like the girl having her past love and still being in love with the guy was, in my opinion, not that weird and like a very common thing. And I was like, does it really matter? In my mind, I was like, does it really matter if she's still in love with the other guy if she's currently with him? But like my feelings towards that are very, personal because I don't even think love is a real thing, to be honest. Like I was like, she might be fond of the other guy, but she's fond of you right now, fond enough that she's with you, right? Um, so then she was like, I remember all my arguments after all that stuff, that long discussion we had. She looks at me and she goes, I really hope that you don't have the misfortune of having something like this happen to you. And I was like, the way she was saying, I was like, no, you're clearly saying you wish this would happen to me. Like, it's like the subtext behind what you're saying is that you're hoping that this some misfortune, that this misfortune happens to me.
Just tell me you hate me. Like,
Yeah. I just found that shit bad funny. This whole thing just reminded me of that. Like he's sitting there dancing like, ooh yeah, yeah. You're just like, I hope this nigga die. I hope this nigga die. But anyways, on that note, catch you same bad place, same bad time. Vanguard out.